Hi guys, welcome to another episode of C.H.E.B.S, chatting hobby, endless bollocks and stuff. And I'm here with Matt.
Hello.
Finally, it could be a jumbo-sized C.H.E.B.S today, like a double D, not Dungeons and Dragons, but yeah, this could be some juicy C.H.E.B.S. There's a lot to get through, a lot to discuss. So yeah, let's get into it straight away. I guess the most important thing to talk about really is going to be the Amazon Studios story. So let's get on that. And it's official. I mean, there's been a lot of people going around saying, "Oh, Henry Cavill's left. It's too woke. He's had enough. He's walked out." And it's just sort of like, yeah, whatever, bullshit.
The usual.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's the same people that said that Kathleen Kennedy was fucking gone. Like 10 times over. It's like, yeah, she's definitely losing her job next month. They're gonna completely, decanonize the sequel trilogy. It's definitely happening. It's like, no, it's not. So
Yeah. Whether she should or not is another matter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, complete incompetence, whatever way you look at it. A path to unlimited money, and the franchise has been destroyed to the level that Skeleton Crew isn't terrible, but nobody's watching it, basically. So yeah, that's completely destroyed that franchise. Let's just hope this one doesn't follow the same fate, because it's official. Yeah, Games Workshop and Amazon have finished the deal. Don't know what the details of that is yet. We don't know how much Games Workshop's had to give to Amazon or anything like that. There is a legal announcement that I'm not going to look through at the moment, but what it does say is we now have synopsis and ordering for the stories that we are going to tell. So it's been a year through negotiation, and they are ready to go now. It's going to be a long time. It's going to be, I would say, at least 2 years before we're going to see anything. We might see a trailer towards the end of next year, maybe. But it is official. It is happening. And the thing to say here is that it says shows, stories. When will the first project hit screens? Project 1 is about to go into development proper. And there's more on the way. And personally, Matt, I think this might spell the end for proper animations on Warhammer Plus. Because their new announcement of the season's content, which I've not brought up, but I meant to, does not mention animations at all.
Interesting. Maybe. I suspect that the cheaper stuff will end up going onto.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we might get some more Hammer and Bolter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But certainly the CGI animations that we were getting, like Pariah Nexus and Tives, I'm not sure that those are going to be. I would think that Amazon, in their contract somewhere, would have a non-competition clause. Because they want people on Prime, they don't want people on Warhammer service.
I mean, I don't really see it as competition if they're two different things.
So I would imagine, because they're going to want the best creators on their stuff, all that kind of stuff. Henry Cavill's not going to want to work for anything for Warhammer Plus. He's going to be tied down to contracting with Amazon as a production company. So I personally think that we are not going to see. I think you're going to see a couple more, and then I really think the animations are going to fall back on Warhammer Plus, and I think they've tried to relaunch it as this. They've taken a little bit of what I said on board, because there's some sort of studio insights and stuff like that they've added that might make it worth doing. I'll have a look at it in a year or so and see what they've got. But I personally think that animations is going to fall right back, and it's going to be all of this material coming through Amazon. I think they've signed a great big contract, not just do one show, to pick up loads of stuff. Games Workshop's just hit the FTSE 100, and that's not something that goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
So I imagine that Amazon have gone, yeah, we're going to make loads of stuff, but it's going to be all on our,
on their terms.
On their terms, and an exclusivity thing. And we did get a hint as to what that might look like with the new secret level animation,
which wasn't that bad at all.
Which was. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it was only 15 minutes, so they're never going to be able to tell a great story in 15
Probably
minutes.
Why it was all right.
But what was there was good. It was very visual. I mean, very, very visually impressive. I thought the cinematography, as such as it is just animated, but they've still got to set it up and everything like that and set a look for it. And the direction was very, very good, striking to the extreme visually. Like the bit when they go to the underground bit and they're blasting away at Zangors, and you've got the blue blood and like the orange flare of the bolters.
That was very nicely done.
You know, it looked very, very cool. And I just felt it was lacking on a story basis, to be honest. It was just a bit of backstory or a bit of both, really, a bit of expansion on Titus, wasn't it? It's basically an add-on cutscene that could have gone to Space Marine 2.
Potentially.
There's a few bits here and there that I wasn't quite so enamored with, I guess. Like, it was all right. But I kind of felt like some of it didn't work. Like, it probably should have been terminated. It just seemed like another thing that GW had done to sell GW stuff. Like, even in the article they put up for it on Warhammer Community, it was like, oh, buy your Blade Guard squad and Titus here.
No and no.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, well, let's face it, for the mission, it just should have been Terminators. It's what they fucking cool. It's what they designed for.
Yeah,
you know,
pretty much.
A sort of insert and do something very quickly, kind of.
And then get back out. I can only assume that there was some sort of dampening field going on because they lose comms and geolocating as soon as they hit the surface. So
yeah, they do, but it doesn't seem to be underground or anything because they just launch a missile down there. And I just, it just seems like it was done to sell some fucking Blade Guard, basically, because they're like, no, these are Primaris, and
I mean, they look cool.
Oh no, I mean, it all looks great. You've got the sergeant dude; he looks epic, and the facial animation and the facial detail is next level. Like, this is really, really good looking stuff.
Yeah, I expected no less from the guys that did like Love, Death and Robots. Some of the stuff on that was fucking amazing.
Yes, yeah, and Love, Death and Robots does a variety of different styles of animation.
Yeah.
So you can't. There's some stuff that's photorealistic, and there's some stuff that's cel shaded, and there's some stuff
certainly not. Yeah.
Some stuff that, like, you know, what we've got here basically. But yeah, visually I had no complaints at all. Directing wise, it was all fine. Very little dialogue. Like, there's the middle part of the animation. They say nothing. They're just killing shit. And that's what Space Marines do. I would have liked a little bit of dialogue, I think, but voice actors are expensive, I guess. And yeah, it was cool. I like the demon attack. I thought the demon attack was really cool.
Very sneaky.
You know, freezing them in time and doing psychic attacks on them. It's a shame that we didn't get anything out of the other two squad members who are just cannon fodder. And the only way you get their name is on a screen at the start. You know, they don't get to speak. There's no words spoken to them, no orders given. It's just...
I think you get one of their names.
You get both of their names. They come up on the screen at the start.
You get their ranks.
No, one's Levantus, and one is it begins with an A. You do get both their names pop up. There's one name comes up at the start of the scroll on the screen, and then it cuts to the dude's face, and it cuts back to the screen, and you get the other guy's name. But you'd have to put it all together yourself.
Yeah, because one of them was Veteran Sergeant Levantus, and the other one was Lieutenant Titus.
Yeah, and there's another one that popped up before the cut to the guy's face, the black dude, Sergeant Moratus.
How many sergeants are they sending?
Yeah, innit? This is the other thing. Like, again with the squad, it's like, yeah, here's a Blade Guard squad, and we're going to randomly attach Titus, who is a lot younger than this veteran sergeant. Although the studs don't match up, and it's just like, well, yeah.
Someone fucked up somewhere there.
Yeah, it's still a little bit convenient. It's like we're looking at the Chaos Dude's tank for ages, trying to work out if it's a fucking predator or not.
It's not a predator. It's not a predator. It's not a Russ.
It's just something in between. It's just like,
it's certainly not a salamander. It's just like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, but yeah, I liked it. I thought it was very lacking on a story level, but it was just it was a fluff piece designed to promote the game, designed to be a technical showcase of what they do. Hopefully we get some more. I mean, you know, as I say, we're years off getting anything else out of Amazon. So over the next year or so, I imagine we'll see a couple of little bits on Warhammer, but Warhammer Plus, sorry, but certainly once the Amazon show starts, I don't think we'll get anything on Warhammer Plus at all. But yeah, it's all been announced by Henry Cavill. I don't know what we're going to get. I'd hope not to have a Space Marine themed thing. I think one thing that Secret Level, the and They Shall Know No Fear thing showed is that Space Marines are hard to relate to and to do story with.
Yeah, I mean, it also shows that they're ridiculously OP in the setting.
Yes, exactly.
Like, obviously, not in the game.
Yeah,
not on the tabletop.
Or not in Space Marine 2 either. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, but like in the setting, it's supposed to be like, you know, the average human will never ever clap eyes on a Space Marine outside of a statue or a picture.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
you know,
they're almost mythical, aren't they? They're the sky people. Yeah,
like there's a lot of them, but not compared to like the Imperial Guard. You know, and they're all off in war zones doing stuff, and you're likely to never ever see one. So they should really acknowledge that, like in the TV show, by having it a bit more like, you know, human based, maybe an Inquisitor with a retinue.
I'm hoping for Eisenhorn. I'm hoping for Eisenhorn, and I'm hoping that Cavill plays Eisenhorn because I think he could do a really good job. That would be my guess. My guess would be Eisenhorn, because by doing Eisenhorn, you can make it based on a human retinue, but you can have them going to weird places and slowly tell the story of the universe.
And it opens up a lot of scope. Yeah, I think the old Warhammer 40k RPG, like by Fantasy Flight, got that pretty much right, because Space Marines were like, what?
Yeah,
like way more powerful than anyone else. So you couldn't have everyone be like a Space Marine.
And it should be like
sparingly.
A great book for Space Marines, I always felt, was Dan Abnett's, oh god, what's it called? Tales of the Snake, the Iron Snakes one.
Brotherhood of the Snake.
Brotherhood of the Snake, that's it.
Yeah, where it's just one of them from like the Iron. Is it Iron Snakes?
It's one dude from the Iron Snakes. Yeah, Pyth. Yeah, something or other he's called.
Yeah, that was good.
And like every time he goes back to this planet, like the Imperial Guard commander, she's got, or like the planetary governor or whatever it is, she's got older and older and older, and he's not aged. That book really drives down the difference between Space Marines and humans. That Space Marines are meant to be a level, and this is not Primaris, this is just normal Space Marines, are meant to be a level that humans can't, you know, they're super fast, they move faster than you can think, you know, they're super, super strong, they can crush a human skull in one hand, which we see in this.
Yeah,
you know, there's some great, I mean, let's not get it wrong, there is some great action in this episode. Like the bit where he grabs the guy and then just smashes his, he just headbutts him. His brains are all over his fucking helmet. It's like, yes, mate.
That's great. Picks up a cultist. The cultist tries to shoot him with a pistol in the head, and it goes ping off his helmet. And he turns and looks at him and just goes smash. Just puts his face through his head. And I was like, that was fucking awesome.
And you got the bit where Titus takes out the tank and fucking just charges through a buggy. Like,
that was a little bit like, what? But then I'm assuming it's just a ramshackle piece of shit cultist.
I'm guessing so. I mean, I would still think the momentum would stagger him a little bit, but you know, that wouldn't look quite as cool, I suppose. I mean, considering my Space Marine gets staggered by fucking flashlights in Space Marine 2, I'd like to think that a buggy would stagger him as well. But there you go.
That's a long last though.
More
powerful than a ramshackle buggy.
More powerful than a ramshackle buggy. But yeah. The secret level stuff was cool. I think the Amazon thing needs to do more, a lot more. Like, it needs to do more story. It needs to do more world building. Like, watching the secret level episode, you don't really get anything about the 40k universe at all.
No,
it's not
a primer. Very narrow window.
It is purely for people who've seen Space Marine 2 and, you know, just want that action. It's also horribly masculine. I'm afraid there's no ladies in it at all. So sorry about that.
The demon's a little bit feminine in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
But kind of. That, it's like,
yeah, no C.H.E.B.S, but slender and a face that, yes, interesting.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's under a veil.
Yeah, a little bit of Kerrigan Queen of Blades to start with, but then it's a demon. It
cool though, very, very cool. I mean, I like the seductive kind of reaching into their minds and ripping them all got a little bit metaphysical for me, but I was just
spoilers. Not too many spoilers.
Looks cool.
Just in case there's anyone that, you know, any of our 8 listeners haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I hate to spoil the 4 lines of dialogue that are actually in the thing, but yeah. So yeah, that happened. That was really cool. I did enjoy that. What's the next thing that we're gonna have to come up? It is Necromunda. Okay, so we've got these cool Necromunda models. These were interesting.
Cool. Yeah, very.
very
But then Necromunda
Asian,
stuff always
very.
is interesting.
I don't know, the paint job's great on them, but yeah, very interesting models. I love the artwork.
Yeah, because they're masks.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, they're Omuyo masks, aren't they, from the Japanese theatre?
Yeah.
Yeah, just cool, something different, something just a little bit. It's not a Space Marine. It's not. It's a level of 40k that we've not seen before. It still looks fairly grimdark and cool.
Mm.
Love the artwork. Yeah, win. Yeah, win. Very nice. I'd like to see a proper good painter take these on and make them look amazing. I don't think this is a great paint job, but yeah, not bad.
I think they both look fine, and you're a mean person.
Right, we also got some new wizards,
Oh.
and these were quite cool. Each one comes with like a little familiar. This dude has got a gnome to carry him around. Oh, sorry, sore point, gnomes. Don't want to talk about that.
No, it's fine. It should turn up today still.
Hopefully, this guy looks a bit over the top. I think those sleeves look very impractical. I don't know how he can cast spells with those, but yeah, quite nice.
Not everyone enjoys a good wizard sleeve.
But yeah, not bad. Yeah, blue wizard, not blue waffle. Anyway, carrying on. This guy I didn't like so much.
I actually prefer this guy.
Bit too dwarfy, like the beard and everything. And I like the frog familiar. The frog familiar looks cool. If a little bit slan, but
looks a little bit Boss Nash out of fucking.
Yeah, he does actually, doesn't he? He's got a pipe and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's all right. Just, yeah, not quite.
I much prefer that. Is this old world or is this?
This is all old world for the new Empire range.
Yeah. It does look a little bit slightly too grounded to be AOS.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. And then you've got this Necromancer, and I think this is really nice.
That is very cool.
Yeah, and that's cool. It says Gnomish familiar there, yeah, Gnomish, yeah. Yeah, I like Necromancer. I think that's the best one out of the three. Because if you remember the old plastic battle wizards, I like the way it's incorporated the roses and the scythe and everything like that. It's all quite nice.
Yeah, I don't remember the old plastic battle wizards.
Oh, they're nice. Nice set. You can pay. There's a set of you could build 8 different battle wizards for one of each of the colleges of magic. No idea if you can still buy them or not anymore. They were very nice. I always meant to get them and never got round to it. Her skeleton familiar is suspiciously short. Pay that no mind. Ooh.
Still got a sense of humour.
And then another thing we got was, let's go to this one next, the Horus Heresy. So we've got a new Praetor.
Yeah, Iron Father.
Yeah, looks pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah, very nice. Prefer the alternate head. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Not least a little spider cyber skull familiar on his shoulder, which I love.
Yeah, it's got a cyber familiar. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not much else to say. I'd like to see more angles from him, of course, as always. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Pretty good.
That it does.
Not bad. Again, very basic paint job. They're definitely rushing through the paint jobs these days, but not bad. It's always been the way with Forge World, to be fair. They've always done that kind of grimdark, but slapdash grimdark kind of look. But yeah, it looks right.
Get it done quick.
Looks quite nice. And then something else that we got was these. So, got mixed thoughts on these. Obviously, this is from the Emperor's Children. And they're going to be revealed on Christmas Day by the looks of things, because it's every 2 weeks, and these came out yesterday, and 2 weeks from yesterday is Christmas Day. So, I've got mixed thoughts on these. I think they look fine, but they are just 3D renders. And the problem I have is that anybody with a slight bit, and you can see the other bits on the side here, if I just move this over real quick, you see the heads there and the shoulder pads. And the problem I have is that anybody with a bit of 3D modelling nous can now make that in 2 seconds flat. I don't know why GW aren't just putting up painted versions, which would look a lot more interesting.
It's probably because they don't have them.
Oh, of course they do. They were painted ages ago, mate. I guarantee all the Emperor's Children were painted up a long time ago. These are just digital renders. Because we're going to see the full box in 2 weeks, and I imagine it'll be a box with, I don't know, 2 squads of Emperor's Children, a character, and some other stuff. Yeah, it'll be an army launch box for sure, and it'll be out, I don't know, probably like March or something, because the Krieg will be first. But yeah, they look all right. I mean, I can't get excited about it because I don't think Chaos have ever been done right. These are just, they don't look warped. They don't look twisted. They just look like normal weapons that have just had curvy bits put on them.
Curvy bits though.
You know, and not the curvy bits we like. Just you know, just this kind of this very Chaos spiky element they go for. I mean, I say they look fine, but Chaos has never looked right for me. Chaos has always looked Saturday villain, slightly spiky Space Marines, not the fucked up 10,000 year veterans of the warp that I think they should look like. But that's just me. Yeah. That's just me.
Well, it's modern 40k now, isn't it? So you've got to just temper your expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all toned down. They are just going to be spiky Space Marines. It's a shame because, I mean, these guys should literally, like, Slaneshi stuff, in my opinion, should look like fucking Cenobites from Hellraiser. Basically, they should all look like that, the various Cenobites. Not, you know, like, maybe not the CD one because that was a bit silly, but they should all look tortured. Because, you know, they're all into experience and sensation and stuff like that. And that's what Hellraiser was all about. I mean, surely there was some... I'm sure there was some influence from the Clive Barker stuff.
What, into the Slaneshi?
Into Slaneshi and the creation and all that kind of stuff, the pain and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think Hellraiser is just a metaphor for him discovering that he was gay. And
yeah, quite possibly, yes.
Definitely. I mean, it doesn't make it any less awesome.
No. I mean, Hellbound Heart was very cool, but I would have liked to see more of that kind of, like the Infernal and Rapturous. More of
fantastic. That. Such a good design.
Yeah, more of that, you know, rather than what we get, which is a very toned down thing. But unfortunately, Torture doesn't sell to Little Jimmy, and Little Jimmy is what 40k is aiming for. So tough fucking luck. Another new model that got shown off was this, and I like this a lot. It's the Witch Hunters from Age of Sigmar, but because they're Witch Hunters, they actually look more like fantasy models.
Like the old world, yeah.
Yeah. So this is your Boxing Day miniature. It's meant to be, you can even do it as like a diorama. I mean, look at the paint job on that rim, mate. That's terrible.
It's like a painted rim to me.
No, look at it. There's fucking streaks in it. They've not even put 2 layers of paint on it.
Dusty camera lens.
No, you can see the black showing through and you know it. Fucking shocking. If you're going to put a coat of Skaven Blight Dinge on your rims, GW, put 2 coats. 2 thin coats.
2 thin coats.
See what happens when Duncan leaves? But no, these are nice models. I like these a lot. And I really like these, which I've got the normal versions of them. And obviously in this version, I've got rid of their great coats. And
it's a nice paint job.
It is a nice paint job. Shame about the rim job.
Oh, no.
But no, these are nice. These are nice. They're very old worldy. And this guy just reminds me of something out of fucking The Witcher, to be honest. I mean, that's what they've gone for. But yeah, no, they're cool. They're cool. I may well pick those up, to be honest. Because obviously Warhammer World is just down the road. I'm afraid if you live in Australia or New Zealand, you have to wait a bit longer. Because you're down under.
I know. And pay a lot more.
Yeah. To be fair, you've still got sunshine at the moment, I think. So, you know.
Yeah. It's just grey here now.
Yeah, very much. In fact, it's already dark. It's only 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's dark. It's dark here in Nottingham. It's actually getting dark. So,
is it grim though?
Not grim dark. So, well, a little bit grim. It's a little bit grim out there.
You're not north enough to be grim and dark.
Clearly, exactly. You get up to Yorkshire, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's some nice new models coming out. Overall, I thought some good stuff. I was quite pleased. But our next main subject for today, and we are getting through this a bit quicker than I thought we would, to be honest, is GW have again attempted to fix the game, balance the game, whatever.
Oh, I'm staying out of this one.
So 40k, they've basically taken deep strikes, and if you could deep strike within 3 inches, they've set that back to 6 inches. They've fucked around with a load of stratagems, changed the rules for a load of different factions. Again, it's just another blanket change to the game. And the problem is, like, if you've not played the game since the last fucking update, it's just like, well, what version am I playing? You know, am I playing the right version? Have I downloaded the right shit? Do you care? If I picked up a random opponent, what version are they playing? Have I got the up-to-date rules from their codex because I want to learn their codex because I want to know if everything's up to date? Just a fucking nightmare. And I did download the update, and it's here. And yet these are changes to the core rules. So this is stuff that, on top of everything else,
Again,
is different from your rule book. So at this point, the core rule book is completely fucking pointless.
looks nice.
You know, you buy that core rule book and it's just all wrong at this stage. Very, very little, like the very, very core rules, like movement and shooting and stuff, might be right. Everything, like, they've changed so much at this point. They've changed devastating wounds, mortal wounds, and stratagems, and all this kind of shit. Deep striking, they've now changed. And I'm just like, well, why? You know, why would you? And then you've got the faction changes, and these have all changed. And it's not just points; they've actually changed profiles and shit. So your Adeptus Custodes codex that you bought, I don't know, what was it, 3 months ago when the Lady Custodes came out, maybe a bit more.
And the funny thing is, they never used to be able to do stuff like this.
No.
I remember when Forge World did Irilith, the Shade of Twilight, like the Phoenix Lord for the Shadow Spectres that they did for the old R. Still awesome models, fantastic take. The Doom of Marmera is a great Imperial armor.
Yeah, I really like those Shadow Spectres models. They're really cool.
Yeah, if you get a chance to read it, do it, because it's basically the Space Wolves and Imperial Guard versus Eldar.
Okay.
And all right up to Titan level, it kicks off. It's awesome. But yeah, and they released a whole bunch of rules on like their old Facebook page, and the community went, "Who wrote these? These are a bit shit."
Mm.
And they went, "Oh, okay." And then literally in less than a week, they'd released a new PDF and kind of said like, "Yeah, sorry about that." And I actually bumped into one of the Forge World guys when I was just visiting Warhammer World shortly after that, and I was like, "Nice work on getting that done." Because that's really appreciated. You listened to people and you sorted it out, and you gave us a set of rules which matches up with stuff that we expected, which is already in like the codex.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah. I mean, that's one good thing about working at Forge World is because they're not governed by the same policies that the design studio are. They can just change rules on the fly and release them in quick succession and do stuff like that. Whereas the game studio weren't allowed.
No.
Specific words. He said it's not their policy to do that. So once things get stats and whatnot, usually they just stay the same.
Yeah.
But then again, that was back when 40k was more complex, and because it was more granular, it was much easier. Well, I say much easier, like I've got any experience in doing it. But when it's more granular, there's more elements that you can tweak slightly to make fine adjustments when rules and units and stuff aren't quite working up to expectation, rather than having big chunky rules to then try and change or just completely replace.
Exactly. And the problem is, like, they make all these changes and they're knee-jerk reactions based upon, I don't know, tournaments or whatever, where people are using the best stuff and meta lists. So if you're just one of these people who doesn't play in that way, and you've just got some fluffy news like, oh, I like this unit just because they're fluffy, and you're not using them in the most optimum way, you've just been hit with a load of fucking nerfs. Fuck you.
Yeah, probably.
Less fun for you. Thanks. You know, I mean, and again, you can always choose to like ignore these things, but that's not the point. I mean, it's like people are going, oh, yeah, like, you know, Dawn Eagle jet bikes are finally usable. Yeah, they've changed them. Great, my codex is, you know, out of date. I've now got to have these update profiles and cut them out and fucking put them in there and shit. And it's like, you should be having a go that they weren't fucking useful in the first place.
Definitely.
Why don't you get it right the first time round? You've got no excuse. You're meant to be the premier people doing this. And the thing is, this isn't digital products. This is why I don't buy codexes. And I was going to do a separate video, and I might still, but I might just clip this bit out instead and be lazy. But I don't buy physical codexes because they're fucking pointless. For a start, the damn thing is out of date nearly as soon as you get it. Secondly, over half the codex is now just data sheet after data sheet after data sheet after data sheet. There's no bestiary section, there's a tiny bit of fluff, and then you get like a little kind of snippet of text next to each data sheet. And that's it. They're not a hobbyist's tool anymore at all. They're a gamer's tool. You know, there's not really a hobby section there. You get a little bit of a photo gallery because they want you to buy the models still at the end of the day. You get your Crusade bit in there. Fuck knows if anybody's playing Crusade because all these rules affect that and it probably fucks that up. I don't know. I mean, 40k is in such a state at the moment and there are so many people turning around now and saying it. Like, there are so many. We were one of the first to say we hate it. You know, we were ahead of the curve. But now all the people that were playing it are like, yeah, no, this is shit. You fucked it. And has this fixed it? Maybe, but you shouldn't have had to fix it, GW. I don't pay to beta test your fucking product.
Especially at the price they charge.
Exactly. So while on one hand, I totally appreciate the fact that you're committed to making the game better and all that kind of stuff, do the right thing, make it all digital. Because if this is all digital, I don't have a complaint, really. But the fact that you sell a codex for 35 quid and then you're like, lol, that's completely useless a month after it's released. And I've compared them to like EA, who patch games afterwards.
Please don't mention EA. Set me off.
This is the same kind of thing. You shouldn't sell, as I say, if it was all digital and all in the app, and then you charge a subscription for the app. So say you charge double what you pay for the app at the moment. So I think it's like £5.
Maybe.
Is Warhammer Plus like a £5, 5, 6 quid or something?
Yeah, why not?
Say you charge a tenner.
Yeah, no, it is. It is pretty much that. Yeah.
So say you charge a tenner, and you've got to choose 3 armies, for example. £10 a month, you charge 3 armies. All your rules are on there, free, forever, and they're updated all the time. I don't have a complaint. I think that's fine. I still don't like the fact that you can't make a game that you don't have to constantly fix, but at least you're not charging somebody 35 quid for a book that's immediately out of date. Or say, for example, you sell the codes separately. So you can go on, and rather than having to buy a codex for 35 quid that's got a code in the back that enables you to use your codex in the app, you just sell the code. You just sell the code for £5.
Sell the code for 35 quid. Comes with a free book.
Comes with a free book, yeah. But no, seriously, like you sell the code for £5. So it's like, okay, if you want all the rules for your army and they're going to be updated in perpetuity for free, and you just pay £5 for a code and then use the app. I'm like, that's fine. But what I don't want is the situation where you're not just making changes to the codexes and the points values, you are making changes to the core rules of the game constantly. It's like, your sister's a battle player and you've not played for a while, and you go to play your opponent and you're like, oh, do you realise that your
you can't do that anymore.
Your acts of faith are like completely different now. Rather than getting a dice every time a sister's unit is destroyed, you get 1 if sisters were destroyed in that turn. Or if you're GG to the Colts, and it's like, no, you don't roll for them anymore. You're supposed to take a load of points and put them aside at the start of the game, and then you can choose which units to bring back based on the points that you've got. And again, you can always choose to not use these rules, but then, why bother balancing them in the first place? There's just so much on the competitive team that play all the time. And this is why I did my video saying that I want 2 different versions of the game.
Definitely that.
I want the version that, you have here that you're marketing, where you constantly get people to play the up-to-date rules and buy the codex and that kind of stuff. And then I want a narrative version of the game, because the thing is, Matt, this never used to happen. You used to buy a codex and that was it. It wasn't fucked.
And that was it. Yeah, that was it. I mean, the internet was barely a thing at that point.
True.
But like, all you used to do was just get new units and stuff. You get rules in White Dwarf for it.
Yes, exactly.
They'd never really have to correct anything they'd already done.
Nope.
Presumably because it was based on a well-tried and tested rule set, because it was still fundamentally based on 3rd edition, and it had been that way for well over 10 years.
Yeah, that 3rd through to 7th was pretty much the same game with
it was
updates.
Great. Yeah, exactly, and it worked fine.
Yeah,
games took a little bit longer, and then people that just want to sweep models into a box and get their willies out and compare how big they are probably didn't like it, because there was less model sweeping and getting willies out in a day.
Yeah, I mean, you had more random events tables and more crazy stuff that could happen, and I think the dice had a lot more sway, because you didn't have all these endless re-rolls and shit.
Yeah,
quite often you'd roll a dice and what you got was what you got, and
which is how you get more memorable games.
Exactly that. Yeah, it's how you get these mad events that happen that just and sometimes fate kicks you in the balls and you've got to change your tactics to come up with it, to change it. But it's not the same as just going, oh, here's my stratagem, feels bad for you, have this, and just I don't know, man. I don't like the current game. I don't like the way that Games Workshop's treating it. It was better. Nope. I think it was just for me, it was way better back in the day, man. It was narrative. It was fun. I could be like, oh, it doesn't matter that these aren't the best in the game. I fancy taking a load of them, and you probably weren't going to get completely deleted off the table and stuff. It's just, but it's the way they've gone. They desperately want it to be an e-sport now, I guess, and pretty much every faction gets a load of changes, and what I do genuinely like is how they've done it. So I like the fact that it's in red the changes, and they've highlighted stuff, and you can see what the changes are very quickly. I just don't think you should have to change it. I think if you make a good game in the first place, you shouldn't have to change it this much.
Definitely need to just put more time into playtesting.
Yeah.
And then you just get a much more solid game where you don't need to fuck with it.
And I think the amount of units that they've got also doesn't help. It's like Lionel Johnson's had like a massive change, and he's gone up by like 50 points or something stupid like that. Well, if you had an army all put together, like, you may well not be able to take Lionel Johnson now, because it's not easy to drop 50 points.
No, especially when war gear don't cost.
Because there's no war gear. So it's not like you can go, oh, okay, well, I just won't give these guys frag grenades, which used to be able to do back in the day. You'd be like, okay, I'll take the frag grenades off these dudes, and then I can bump up my character a little bit or something.
Yeah, it'd be like, no power fist on this sergeant, no melter bombs for this guy. Take this off him, take that off them. Oh, but there's just about got 50 points. Maybe reduce this squad by one model.
Yeah, exactly.
That one there.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Change your switch unit, and you scrape your points together. But you can't even fucking do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore. It's just like Lego blocks. It's crap.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to get fucking into the fact that Acolyte hybrids with auto pistols and Acolyte hybrids with hand flamers.
The classic.
I mean,
why would you even take auto pistols?
There's no point. There's no point in taking auto pistols at all. Hand flamers are better in every single way. So yeah, and they've done all these fucking detachments at Christmas, which again is kind of a cool idea, little advent calendar and everything, but it's just endless bloat. Yeah, man, it's for me, it's just like, it's just killing off 40k for me a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It's just cementing my opinion of 40k.
Yeah, I'm just in a really weird place where I'm both relieved that I kind of don't have to sit there and wade through loads of changes to then do loads of Battlescribe stuff to make sure that we're all up to date.
Oh Christ, can you imagine if you had to do Battlescribe for 40k, mate? It'd be a full-time job.
I dropped that when 10th came out. I was like, it's not worth it.
It'd be a full-time job.
None of us liked it. 7 of us in the group? None of us liked it, and it was just like, no, fuck that. But then I'm saddened that I'm in this position where I don't like, the most recent edition, the 10th edition, like the
landmark
edition of what was one of the best parts of my hobby for like the last 30 years, and it's just it kind of sucks.
Yeah. We've been doing 40k for like what 30 years now.
Yep.
I think I'm at 28 or 29 years. You're past that, well past that.
Yep.
You're right. It is a shame to see something like this turn into this without having. I don't care if if you want to play competitive, go nuts. I'm glad you got what you got, but I want mine as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I want my narrative, nice, fun game that I can play with my mates, and I don't have to spend half an hour checking that the fucking rules are up to date, and I don't have to fucking spend half the game being this law rule stuff. In the old days, it was just like, we couldn't decide on the rule, roll dice, 4+, bang, done. Get on with the game.
Yeah. We've done that plenty of times as well.
Exactly.
Roll dice, go with it. Sometimes it goes your favour, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got 50-50 chance. It's as simple as that. I mean, I've never been in a situation where I don't know, man. I can't talk because I'm not the modern gamer. It's not the way I've played games. It's not the way I've ever wanted to play games.
It's just not this one.
And I'd probably play rather than any other game rather than play 40k. And it's even extended to watching. I used to watch a lot of like Winters and play on tabletop.
Yeah, I don't anymore because it reminds me of what I'm not enjoying.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, no, I just don't want to anymore. I just
grab a team of like 4 or 5 people, sit them down and say, look, take the heresy rule set, apply it to 40k, and then just look at old codexes, use those as a template for doing the new codexes, because the 7th edition stat lines for units and stuff are fundamentally the same as heresy, just like adding a movement, which is great. And then just look at modern codexes and work out how you can extrapolate that over. Take this particular codex, you work together to make sure nothing's fucking ridiculously OP, and then grab other members of staff that you can trust in your spare time, play test the shit out of this stuff, and then let us know how it goes. And then those two grumpy pricks online will stop fucking moaning about it.
Go back to external playtesters, because I can understand that staff are sometimes a little bit too close to it and they might not see the mistakes, whereas external playtesters do. And just give them a personalised, watermarked version of the fucking rules. And then when they leak them, you know exactly who it is. Or if you release a rumour you release 2 different versions of the rumour to different people, and you compartmentalise everything. It's not hard to work out who leakers are. It's really fucking not.
I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're doing that and you're doing them as maybe free downloads or a cheapo book like a compendium with all the stuff in, does it really matter if they get leaked or not? Definitely. I mean, the Heresy stuff got leaked before that was released.
Yeah.
Before the new edition of Heresy.
Mate, I was always going.
Great,
I don't even know if Fate's still running anymore. I can't remember the name of it. Fate 212, whatever it was.
Yeah, I think he probably went in the bin when Games Workshop just started doing rumours themselves.
Yeah, I imagine it's completely dead. I don't know, man. I don't want to go on about it forever, but yeah, that's how I feel. I think codexes are completely fucking useless. It should all be digital, and if you're going to make codexes, you should make them into like a fluff and hobby book that you can buy if you want to. If you want to enhance your experience with your army, you can buy them, but you don't have to buy them. Making people buy something that's 35 quid that then is immediately out of date, that you then can't update the physical product, is not the same as patching a game. It's bullshit.
Yeah, see, I'm of the opposite opinion. Well, I love my books and stuff, and I will be quite upset if Games Workshop decide to go fully digital. It's just do a fucking better job in the first place.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I don't want to go fully digital if they still do the codex without the rules in it, because I still like codexes. You know, I love the old days of the codexes where you got a fluff section, and then you got the bestiary, and then you got the army section. So you got all the fluff about a creature in the bestiary, making it sound awesome, and then you got the rules for showing how good it was. We talked about the new Tyranny Codex, and there's a brand new unit in it, the Norn Emissary or whatever the fuck it is, and there's barely a word about it.
Barely a mention of it in the fluff whatsoever. And I was like, that kind of sucks, because I want to throw together, well, I did start throwing together rules for Tyranids for 30k, just as like a Tyranid like equivalent.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm kind of like, well, when it comes to doing special rules and stuff, I need to get some flavour from the lore
of the character.
So I have an idea of how to extrapolate these from your crappy 10th edition into a decent edition with some more flavour in it. And there was nothing. I was like, I literally searched through the codex, and I was like, it's mentioned in there like once.
Yep.
This was part of an invasion, and I was like, oh, well done. What did it do? Nothing. How does it work?
It's like units from the Leviathan box. Never mentioned, never do anything. Psychophage, fuck knows. Neurotyrant, fuck knows. Neurolictor, fuck knows.
All the Neuro stuff's just crap anyway.
You know.
Like, they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas now.
Yes, and that's the thing, is too many units, can't balance it all, bloat. Just bloat. Endless bloat. And all it does is it pushes out units that you already had, like Tyranid Warriors and stuff. Because they were occupying a slot, and then you're like, well, now you've got like 5 different options for that one slot, where back in the day you might have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know, not those slots technically exist in that way anymore, but that's
I'm not sure that Tyranids is the best example, given the amount of fucking troops they had before this shitty new edition came out.
At least you can modify them and make them your own and make them different rather than having cookie cutter. Yeah, and I've done a video about that. We'll leave that, because we have got one more thing to cover before we get into the main thing. And I think what we'll do is because
before we get to the main thing.
Well, the main thing is that THAT video.
Oh, geez, that
you've made notes on, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that I have thoughts on. So what we'll do is we'll go through Space Marine 2, the changes, and we'll go through the operations and rank those, because that'll be fun. Okay, so
OMG, what's happened here?
I know, right? So there's been a big update to Space Marine 2 in giving us a new operation, some Dark Angel bling,
Thanks.
islands colours, like yay.
Finally.
Seems to be a few glitches with it, as it's completely fucked the parry window. There's been a lot of times where I parried that.
Yeah, I parried that. No, I parried that as well. No, I parried that. I'm dead.
But in general, I think we can all say that we think Sabre are doing a fine job. I've really enjoyed Space Marine 2. It's been very fan reactive.
Considering they're not a AAA studio.
Exactly. It's not a AAA game.
They've probably got that funding at their disposal now that they've sold like millions of games upon launch, but they
4.5 million players, I think it was.
Yeah, that's fucking good going.
Really good going, and clearly made a lot of money for GW. You know, pushed a lot of money towards a lot of people towards their products, and I wish them every success. And hurry up and get on with making Space Marine 3. Now that you've done the Soul Reaver remasters. Thank you very much, Saber, because I'm very much looking forward to those. Yeah, get on with Space Marine 3, please. Necrons.
It's going to be a different team though, isn't it? Doing that.
Oh, the remaster for sure. Oh yeah. But they'll have a dedicated remaster team, I imagine.
Yeah.
Who are used to updating engines and all that kind of stuff. But Space Marine doesn't need a new engine. I'm quite happy to play this engine, this version of the game, just different content. So literally, I mean, you could take this game, change the environments, make the enemies Necrons, and make them get up again. And I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy I'll buy that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be a significantly different enemy because it's going to be like less melee on their part, but then they get back together again. And
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you've got a Necron warrior, you think it's down, you Volkite the crap out of it, it melts and fucking falls into pieces. You walk past and then it's suddenly dragging at your ankles and reforming. You get more of a kind of a zombie shooter kind of thing, which I think would be really cool and a big contrast to the kind of horde, fast-moving Tyranid thing that you've got now.
It'd be a very good expansion.
Yeah, it'd be very good. Yeah, and you can still have different Necron units turning up, like Ophidian destroyers in place of a Ravener type thing. And scarabs all over the place.
But yeah, you got scarabs as well. Oh, it's the carpet of little scarabs. Ooh,
fuckers. And then you get that immortals, and you could do psychomancers and all that kind of. You could do cool stuff, and then you have like a unit like a cryptech that's helping people heal, tomb blades, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot of scope, but obviously it takes a long time to put those models together.
Yeah,
digitally and all that kind of stuff, and that's something I would hope for the future. At the moment, they're adding content as they can,
which is great. Got 2 new operations already.
Yeah, exactly. And the operations are getting a bit samey, so I'm glad that they're mixing it up.
Definitely mix that one a new one.
So all in all, very pleased. They're working on it continuously. There's a couple of little problems at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be fixed in due course.
Yeah, they're pretty good at sorting them out.
We just noticed it. We played on like Ruthless earlier, and it was like, not being able to parry properly is really, really causing a problem. So in general, I think it's very good. But I just thought it'd be a little bit of fun to rank the different operations. So we're going to do that. Now, obviously, we'll just explain what happens in them quickly, and then we'll give them a rank at the end. So Inferno is the first one, where you've got to burn all the Tyranids.
At the end.
You start off in the jungle bit. It's good fun. Ammo tends to be a bit of a liability at higher levels.
Definitely.
Like if you're playing at heavy, you are possibly not going to have fun time during the first part. Like imagine you're a heavy, your mate's a sniper, and then the last one's tactical or something. You're probably not going to have a good time during the first half of this game.
When tactical's got a chainsaw, he'll be all right. But heavy. It's just you better bring along if you're bringing on like an ammo limited heavy weapon. You better bring along like a bolt pistol instead of a plasma pistol.
Exactly.
Get it up with an ammo box problem.
Yeah, exactly. But it all plays quite nicely. I like the first mission. You get to the codes. It's quite often bit of fun.
Yeah, hopefully you don't get a fucking Carnifex like in the first 5 minutes now, like we did before.
Yeah, they said they fixed that, and to my experience, no, not yet.
Yeah,
needs more work because I was soloing last night, and the fucking Carnifex turned up in the first 2 minutes. It's like, okay. Or was it no? It was a Neurophrobe, and it was on the one with the Hierophant, which we'll get to in a bit. And Neurophrobe turned up in the first 5 seconds. It was like, no ammo for you. You've used all your ammo. Have fun trying to kill it.
On that one.
Have fun trying to kill it with a knife. And I was just like, what?
Yeah. Bots do something. Bots. Oh, God's sake.
And generally, the bots are reliable for picking you up, and that's about it.
That's about it.
They don't have much
picking you up and occupying like the standard trash mobs.
Yeah, exactly.
They might as well just have Nerf guns.
So the first one, you start off like in the jungly bit, you do all that, then you get to the bit of the codes, and then you get to the refinery. You fight through the refinery, which again is a crapshoot whether you not get ammo or not.
I think that can just be applied to every level.
Yeah, pretty much.
High difficulties.
Go to the bit of the generators, which you can actually lose the game at without dying if you let the generators get fucked. So only happened once, but it happened.
Yeah. Oh no, we needed those 4 generators to work this one train. One of them got broken.
On the plus side, at least you only have to deal with 1 generator at a time. Imagine if it was like generators 2 and 4 are under attack. It'd be like, Oh,
Bear
fuck.
in mind, we've not actually done it on Lethal yet, so you never know.
No, indeed. In fact, yeah, I've not done the third. I've not done the first one in Ruthless yet. I'm looking at the screenshot now. We need to do that on the 4. And then you've got the final battle, which generally goes okay. The final bit's not too bad. The last stand where you're
Yeah.
holding off with the bomb and everything generally tends to be okay.
It's a lot of mobs, but if you keep your heads and you know what you're doing, it's not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad at all. I don't find that one too bad. There's a constant ammo cache available.
Yep.
It's generally it's not too bad no matter what your class to keep your head there. I have lost it trying a high level with bots because obviously no matter how much you get picked up at the end of the day, you technically still only really have 3 lives.
Yeah, with mortal wounds.
Or 2 lives because it's down, mortal wound, dead.
Yeah.
And then once you're out, you're out.
At lower difficulties, I think you can get dropped without getting a mortal wound so often.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if you get enough health packs, you can obviously heal mortal wounds or a guarding relic. But if you don't manage to get those things, again, at high levels, soloing it can get really hard if you haven't got relic weapons. So, I don't know about you, mate. I would give the first operation a 4 star. We're only doing 3, 4, 5 because I don't think any of them are 1 or 2. I don't think any of them are bad. None of them are bad. I would give this a 4 just because that first section can be an absolute prick if you've got no ammo. When you get up to that bridge, if there was an ammo cache on that bridge every time, you'd be fine.
But that bridge where you drop down after like that first section going uphill, and then you've got the bridge, and then like the swampy bit and the burning tank husks. Yeah, if you run out of ammo there and then you get a neurothrope, you're just like, oh well, fuck me, right?
Exactly.
Especially if that ammo cache isn't there. Sometimes isn't, and you're like, I need to get to the cache. I need to. Oh shit! There's just another load of warriors here instead.
yeah, and then you get two zone folks rock up, and you've got no crack grenade, and you're just like,
yeah.
Fuck me, I guess.
It's like Event Horizon, where poor old Sean Pertwee's Smithy's trying to find the bomb.
Oh, the bomb! Yeah, and he finds he's got 8 seconds left.
He opens like the zip locker, and he goes boom, and he goes, oh, I found it, and it's like 2, 1, and he just goes like, and it just blows up. It's just like that. When you get there, you're like, oh, I got through this extra group of mobs. They're following me, but I got to the cache. Oh, it's not here. Fuck.
yeah. So yeah, that could be a little bit. I mean, that could be a thing with Space Marine in general. I think where you don't get enough ammo, as you said.
Yeah, with some classes it's more of an issue than others.
Especially when you take damage like you do. You don't take damage.
How they're geared.
You take damage like a fucking granny. So yeah, next up we've got decapitation.
Our favourite.
Our favourite, which as you can see, I've not even managed to do on a level 3 yet, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. I love the start of this mission, though. I love the start of this mission.
Oh, yeah, all the invasion piece.
Yeah. Really cool. It's a lot of fun as well as you work your way through. The bit of the bombs is very tense. As you know, you've got all these Tyranids coming down the stairs.
And the limpet mines, and you have to put them on the
spot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's really cool. You've got the hole in the wall gene seed on this one, haven't you? So that section's really fun.
Yeah. The ATM. Is the gene seed in the hole in the wall? No. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fight your way back again.
I think this is a very strong level with lots of very unique design. You've got the bit where you go across the bridge. You've got the fight where you're holding off the Tyranids and you blow up the bridge to bring it down on the Hive Tyrant.
With the Imperial Guard. Yeah, it's great. Like there's loads of gaunts just piling off of a rooftop and then swarming up the wall to get him. And you hear one of them go, fix bayonets. And I'm like, you're fucking mad. Like, people say, oh, little Gribbly's gaunts. I'm like, they're the size of a dude.
Yeah.
Like,
they used to be small, they're not anymore.
Yeah, they're literally the size of a human, but they're small for a
It's like Velociraptors in Jurassic Park. They're meant to be 4 foot across. They're not big they were not big dinosaurs at all. But then Steven Spielberg was like, nah, it's not scary.
Hold on. Oh, you mean 4 foot tall?
Yeah.
Not across.
Yeah, tall.
That Velociraptor's that one's not catching anyone.
Smaller than 4 foot. Smaller 4 foot. They're not big. They're not big dinosaurs. But then Spielberg was like, they're not scary enough. We need to make them big. So suddenly they're 6 foot, tall. Whereas the Dilophosaur, on the other hand, was like a 25 foot long dinosaur. And they're like, no, we need to make it kind of cute and give it that frill lizard.
Oh, it was one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to make it tiny and sort of not scary looking at first, but then it spits in your face. So they.
But no one likes Dennis Nedry anyway, so everyone cheered when he got
True.
yeah. We don't care about spoilers now. The film's like 30 years old.
And there was much rejoicing.
It still looks awesome.
It does, mate. I tell you what, it looks better.
Practical effects.
It looks better than a lot of films these days. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
it really does. Anyway, So yeah, you got that section. But what I think, and I like the bit where you're hunting the wounded hive tyrant through the
I
tunnels and
love that.
everything.
Absolutely
Really
loved it.
cool.
Like, as a tyranny player, I was well disappointed when you work through the campaign, because just in case there's people that don't know, the multiplayer operations in Space Marine 2 fit into the campaign that you play as a single player. Well,
Yes. So it's the bit that the other
oh,
team's doing in the background. So when you're doing the
exactly.
campaign, you'll get Vox communications from other teams that are doing stuff, be it blowing up the Tyranid Swarm with Prometheum, be it trying to kill the Hive Tyrant.
Yeah,
And when
and
you're
this is
playing the
one I've
campaign,
done.
you're like, oh man, I wish I was doing that. And
Yeah,
what the operations
like,
basically let you do is that.
which initially seems like a bit of a chip, because you're like, I wanted to take out a hive tyrant. I can't even see one.
Yeah.
But then when you realise that it's much better to continually play an operation where you can fight a hive tyrant than have to go through a whole campaign just to get it,
Yes.
and then pick like a whole campaign mission from the planet list. It's a better choice,
Yes.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
But I will say, having a 2-stage hive tyrant fight at the end of that mission makes it highly class dependent.
Oh
If
yes.
there's not, if
This
there's
is
not a
where
good
this is
team of
where it's
three
going to get
people.
downvoted for me because this would be a 5. I love this operation up until the final fight, and in specific the second part of the final fight.
I remember Final Fight. That was a good
one. Where the Hive Tyrant goes Super Saiyan mode and just starts doing loads of psychic shit.
Yeah, as a panic.
While still
Just doesn't
summoning
kill
hordes
it.
on you, and you're just like, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm just
Yeah.
getting absolutely fucking destroyed here. As you
If
can
you're
see
on
by the
the
fact that I've not even managed to do this on
yeah, if you're trying to solo it, and I'm saying solo with like like brackety fingers, not
Yeah.
brackets. What the fuck? Speak quotey fingers. You're trying to solo it with 2 bots. If you're a melee class, you are pretty much buggered.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want to try and melee an even gravely wounded hive tyrant.
Yeah.
And the bots do fuck all.
You are going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
the point where we just actively kind of don't. We've tried enough times, and it's so annoying to go through the entire level, like
and then
sometimes not even taking a scratch, and
Yeah.
then doing the first part of the Hive Tyrant, no problem at all, and then the second part you just can't because you're getting battered by the waves, you're getting hit by hordes of fucking gaunts and warriors, and the Hive Tyrant is fucking just ruining you like a neurophrope because he's got those powers.
Which is a nice touch, to be fair.
So that really bumps it down for me. This is probably because of that. It goes from what would be my favourite operation to my least favourite operation. Out of all, I'm just thinking about the others real quick. Yeah, it does. Yeah, unfortunately, if they just fix that final boss fight, and hey, guys in the credit in the comments, if you know how to, we've even taken. Do you remember when we were taking Craig through?
Oh yeah.
And even he couldn't do it with his because we didn't have gold weapons at that time, and he had a relic weapon.
Yeah.
And even
He had
he
like
couldn't fucking do it.
bolter. Yeah, and we still got mullered.
So maybe we're doing something wrong about Hive Tyrant fight. Maybe there's a cheat we can use, a tactic or something. Because the thing is, you can try hiding behind pillars, and it's like, no, lol.
Yeah, the pillars don't block psychic attacks.
Goes through cover and everything. So I have to put this as my least favourite. Unfortunately, I have to put this as a 3.
I'm gonna keep it as a 4.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
I think. With my bulwark and assault, it becomes a bit of a nightmare. But if I go through it with like a heavy or a different range class, then I thoroughly enjoy it. It shouldn't your enjoyment of a map shouldn't necessarily be based on not enjoyment. Like, your ability to complete a map shouldn't be based on what class you want to play. But then I also respect the fact that classes should play differently, so some will have a better time in certain situations than others.
It's just the Hive Tyrant fight. Everything else about it is fine. But when it just starts blasting you with those fucking psychic waves and hitting you with psychic blast, and you've got some dudes to deal with on top, it's impossible. It's impossible.
It does that.
So that bumps it right down for me.
I'm just waiting for the get good comments there.
I'm waiting for get good scrub. Lols Hive Tyrant fought to win.
That's us down to 7 viewers now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not listening to these 2 old losers. They can't even beat a Hive Tyrant.
But as you can see, Vox Liberatis, no problem at all. Done that all the way through to Ruthless. This is a fun level because it's got both Tyranids and Thousand Suns in it.
Yeah.
So you get a nice mix up. Obviously, This is the one that's also got the servo skull and the interment. And
No, it isn't.
no,
No,
it's
no.
not. That's the next one, isn't it?
That's reliquary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's reliquary. Yes, no. So this is the one where you just keep going through the city, don't you?
Yep.
And then you've
Yeah.
got that
And
big
it's doing
set
it.
piece where you've got loads of Thousand Suns on the altar at the top of the square.
Yep.
And that a Hellbrute sometimes turns up there. And it's all generally quite. I mean, I never really had any problems with this one. My sniper normally does really well on this because there's lots of long angles for fire.
I think my favourite element of this mission is the fact that it starts off with NIDS and then gives way to Thousand Suns.
Yes, yeah. As I say,
And
you get both.
And I kind of like that mix. But apart from that, it's probably one of my more frustrating.
Oh, really?
Ones to do. I mean,
you get the bit in the waterlogged square where you can run out of ammo quite quickly, where you've got Tunies and Thousand Suns fighting against each other.
Well, yeah, they do somewhat, but it never really tends to sway the battle either way.
No. But that can be ammo can be a bit of an issue there because the drop pod, the ammo pod is up the stairs and in the room, and by then you've normally been murdered by.
Pretty much in the next section.
Yeah, you can run out of ammo real quick there. But I think this is actually one of my favorite. Then you've got the bit of the lift, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's no real standout parts of this mission that made me go, shit, I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
There's no Hive Tyrant fight, or there's no.
That's a good thing.
No, I mean, when it goes well, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the Demon Host thing at the end can keep you on your toes a little bit.
Yeah,
you've got dodgy psychic attacks and all that kind of stuff.
But then as boss fights go, it's just a bit like meh, like hang around at point A.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not as good as we're going to get to the next one in a minute. But I mean, I would give this. I'd give this a 4. I'd give this a 4 personally.
I'd give it a 3.
Okay, cool.
and a half maybe.
Maybe it's just because I can do this one every time. Maybe that's what it is. You can see it's one of my better ones. But yeah, cool. No, that's fine.
Yeah, in your pajama armor.
Yeah, exactly. Running out in Phobos armor, going, oh Christ, my butt cheeks are flapping in the breeze.
What with Phobos being your favourite pattern and everything.
At least they improved it from the models. They don't look like they're wearing Crocs and fucking shorts anymore. Right, and I can a good helm now, so that's all good. I don't have to wear that stupid Reaver helm anymore.
Oh, they look awful.
Yeah. Right, next up, Reliquary.
Yes.
Heldrake!
5.
Toasty.
Easy 5.
Yeah, right. I think I have to go for 5 for this one. I really enjoy this one. This is the one with the servo skull.
Yeah, the board servo skull.
Yeah. Who goes off inspecting the sarcophagi that you're supposed to.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a bad section to this one at all.
No.
You start off outside with the warlord. Sorry, the Imperator Titan.
Yeah, the Imperator. It looks awesome.
Wandering through and getting all of the.
It's wrecked into a cliffside. It looks amazing.
Yeah, going through the graveyard, taking out Thousand Sun Falls. Hellbrute sometimes turns up at a surprise and goes surprise and starts wrecking the day. And we're going to talk about the Hellbrute in a minute. We forgot to mention that in the updates.
They always suck.
They've turned into such dicks now. Again, we're going to have people going, get good scrubs. No, Hellbrute should not be able to teleport. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And then you work your way into the into the church, the monastery church type thing, and then you have your fights in there.
In the tomb.
Yeah, in the tomb, with all the different, because you've got different areas you can go to. We haven't had it for a while, but you've got that big round circular area that we haven't had for a while, and then it tends to take us down into the catacombs a bit more now, doesn't it? Where you've got to accompany the servo skull. And you don't have to keep it safe or anything, thankfully, because that could be a nightmare.
Imagine that.
You've just got to accompany it.
Got kicked about, now it's useless.
Yeah. And then obviously you go outside and you go down in the lift, and then you've got Heldrake Run. Heldrake Alley. You've got to dodge the Heldrake's blasts while taking care of Zangors on discs and rubrics. And that can get a bit dicey, but the ammo, again, is generally not a problem. There's enough caches to get you through.
Yeah.
And then you get the final Heldrake fight itself, which is loads of fun, where you've got to match the 3 symbols.
Yeah. They're always random and in different places.
Yeah, so while dodging the fire.
Never really gets boring.
And again, trying not to die by pyro or whatever's trying to kill you at that particular moment in time.
Well, yeah, from yesterday onwards, it's now going to be fucking Zangors on
and
discs as
Zangors on
well.
discs, which fucking murder you. They're really hard to hit. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think 4 is a 5. I think I really like
Yeah,
this one. It's a
absolutely.
lot of fun, and it
Yeah,
doesn't punish any particular class.
no,
You can play this with any class, and you'll have a good time.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
lots of
I mean,
sight
yeah, I
alleys for
mean,
snipers. There's lots of close
yeah.
combat areas for
I mean,
assault and
pistols. The
tactical.
pistols. You mean you can drop a stationary vulnerable Helldrake with a pistol. That's
Yeah,
just as well as you can like a main firearm. So yeah,
yeah,
it's fun.
exactly. Yeah, once you get it stunned, because you have to match the three symbols up and it stuns. It's the only window of attack for the Helldrake, and it's
Yeah,
just a much more fun boss fight than the Hive Tyrant,
and
because
it looks awesome.
it will flame you every now and again. You've got dudes attacking you, but it's not constantly fucking chucking out warp blasts or anything like that. So surprised we haven't done this one on a 4 actually, though, mate. Surprised we haven't done that one on a Ruthless. I'm pretty sure we could take it.
Speak for yourself.
It'd be fine with our
I've done it.
with our relic weapons. It'll be fine.
I think the only one I've not done on a 4 is decapitation. A fucking tyrant.
Yeah, no chance I've done that on a 3. Oh, try and do it. I feel bad for not having done that one on a 3 though. I
Yeah,
think
I mean this is with my because obviously I got my assault up to 25 first, and then bulwark.
that's the thing. You're always well ahead of
So
me in the classes. So I've only just got my Vanguard to 25 now. So I've got 2 classes at 25,
mm,
but all the rest are like almost. I think the tactical is at 10, but everybody else is single digits. Like my assault, I think I've used once. He's at level 1. So
yeah, Malignus is definitely an acquired taste, but surprisingly I found myself taking to it quite well.
yeah,
So
well,
much so as a tactical, I had to remind myself to stop assaulting things so much.
yeah,
And a heavy. I don't even have an assault weapon. I don't have no melee weapons.
yeah.
Like, stop
It's like,
stabbing
yeah,
on
you're
stuff.
not.
You're supposed to be at the back shooting things.
Stop
What are you doing?
charging in. To be fair, even as assault, you've been a bit overconfident sometimes. I remember that time.
Ah,
The next operation, as it happens, where I just saw you get pwned midair and just fall like a sack of shit.
that was probably a venom cannon, I expect.
It wasn't.
Fucking
It was
thing.
Thousand Suns, because there are no
Oh,
Tyranids in this next one.
oh
The
yeah.
Fall of Atreus.
Ah,
So all underground to start off with. Lots of going
choo
through
choo,
tunnels and stuff.
choo choo turntable map.
Exactly, yeah. Wrecking Thousand Suns. Hellbrute normally turns up either at the bit where you go down the hill to the water, or in the complex just after that.
Yep.
We've got a couple of really cool cutscenes with the Dreadnought.
Yes.
So you've got the first bit where it's just stomping around and lifts up the gate for you while mowing down fools,
yeah,
saying
the
the heretics
traitors have
do
been.
their best to deplete my ammunition.
That was it. Yeah, these traitors are relentless in their attempts to deplete my ammunition.
Oh, awesome. And then you do without him for a little while and wander around and fight a Helldrake and cry and then kill loads of stuff. And then you meet up with him again for like a big last stand.
A Helldrake?
Not Helldrake, sorry. Hellbrute. That's the one.
Oh yeah. They always fucking turn up.
Yeah, then you do the Dreadnought last stand, and then you go on to like the last bit where you're basically playing with turntables to get a battery to a point to be
Yeah,
charged.
to get it charged up. Yeah, after you've gone through like the mechanic admech bit.
Yeah, and then where the guy gets very upset when he learns what you're about to do with this battle barge.
Yeah. Yeah, right at the beginning of the mission, Titus is like, we'll return the battle barge to your care when we finish. And then when he finds out there's probably not going to be much of it left when you finish, he's like, what the fuck?
After we've flown it into this silver tower. Yeah, and then the final bit can be a bit of a pain, but it's fun. I find the turntables thing a bit. I'm glad they've cut it down from having to charge the battery twice to just one. You've got to accompany the battery to make it move.
Yeah.
The carriage.
Someone needs to stay near it for it to trundle up the track.
Yeah, so after you've charged it a couple of times, then you have to guide it all the way up the hill to the final point, and then there's a final stand. I find the turntable thing a little bit annoying, but in all honesty, this one's grown on me a lot as time has gone on. It doesn't seem to be so bad now.
No, see, I've always enjoyed it, haven't I? Because whenever I pick it, people are like, oh, you're doing the turntable one. It's like, don't you worry with your mind of a child, right? I'll handle the turntables. You just stop me from getting murdered while I do so.
Matt loves playing with trains. He got it from his dad. I'm the dark.
I just understand.
I'm the dark controller.
Yeah, I don't love trains. I just understand how turntables work.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. I can't give it a 5, but I'll give it a 4. I do enjoy this one a lot more, even though it was my most least played one. As you can see, I've now
Give it
done
four
it.
and a half.
I've now done it on 4. Oh, we're doing halves, are we? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I fancy doing halves just to be a prick. So yeah, I'll
Absolutely,
do
yeah.
four and a half.
Yeah, 4.5. I think so. I mean, it's a good operation. I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
The next one is Old Faithful. When we weren't really leveled up and we sucked and we just wanted to get a mission done because we knew we could do it. It was this one,
We're
the
up to
ballistic engine.
up to 6 already.
Yeah, man, 1-6, yeah.
Damn.
So ballistic engine. You start off in a sandstorm, which can be a bit of a bastard
Yeah.
for a sniper.
Or heavy.
It's like visual distance is cut down to fuck all. But
Atmospheric irritation logged.
Indeed.
Brilliant line.
But it's fun. I like this one.
Yeah, it's probably my favourite.
Work your way through some areas. Nothing really particularly awkward or not likeable about it. The bit in the train yard with all the carriages can sometimes be a bit of a issue. Again, if you run out of ammo, the ammo pods after that bit. Well, there's a bit before that bit and a bit after that bit, but in between you can get caught out. The bit with the charging up of the Nova cell or whatever you do, that bit before you get in the lift, again you've got generators you need to activate.
Oh, where you're getting where you're moving the Nova cannon warhead.
Yeah, that can sometimes be a little bit of a prick because you can just
can be a fucking chore as well.
Absolutely hammered. And if 2 zone folks turn up while you're being hammered and trying to deal with all that stuff, it can be.
It's not fun.
A little bit of an issue. But then when you get to the final bit, you've just got to charge up a couple of generators, and you can play again with trains. You can get trains to run over a swarm of Tyranids.
That was fun. That's more your bike than mine at that point, I think.
Well, I was the one who discovered it. I didn't realise. I was like, what are these 2 things is? And I just activated one, and the train came through and flattened a load of gaunts. I was like, choo, motherfuckers.
It's like
before that we weren't using that. We were just trying to kill them all. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. It's like, look, they're coming in from that side. Make sure you. Oh, he's already there and press the button. Yeah. Must love trains.
I just like seeing them go splat. And yeah, the final fight in this one's fun. We nearly always do this one, don't we? I mean,
yeah.
I don't think we fail very often at this at all.
Yeah, we know it so well. It's just like, just grab. It doesn't matter what class it is. Just grab a class, change the difficulty of the thing accordingly, and just go.
Yeah, and as you say, this one's been done on Ruthless as well. I reckon you could probably do this one on Lethal, but it'd take a few goes, and you'd have to get quite lucky.
We'd give it a go.
Because the higher the difficulty goes, the less provisions you get. So there'll be a lot less. Like, I don't even know if you get 1 Guardian Relic, let alone 2. But yeah, give it a go sometime. Don't know if there's anything particularly stand out about this one, but it's good all the way through. So I think I have to give this a 5.
I think it's the weather effects make it stand out for me because none of the other missions have got visibility to that point, and I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, as a sniper, I don't always like it, but I tend to wander off as a sniper and do my own thing anyway. So,
as an assault, I was like, whatever, you can come to me if you like.
Yeah, it's not fun. What I will say is, it's not fun when the Carnifex turns up in the sandstorm at the very start when you've got no ammo and you're like, what? I'm now supposed to kill a Carnifex with a knife, am I? Interesting.
Yep. Best of luck.
But yeah, I'll give this one a 5. We've played. I think the only thing with this one is we've played it so much that I got a little bit bored of it. But it is a great operation, I have to say. Great operation.
5 for me.
Yeah, 5 sounds good. And then we've got the 2 new ones that they added. So the first one was Termination. Where you have to kill a Hierophant. And it's like, that's fun. So again, you start off from like the jungle bit with like a load of wrecked places and sort of choke holes, and you have to go down to a swampy bit and fight loads of stuff, and it's just like Tyranid all the way through.
Yep.
And then after that main bit, you go down into the sewers. So you get an ammo pod, go down to the sewers, and you've got to piss about with generators and clear the generators of.
Yeah, you've got like the cavey bit, and then you kind of come out of there and go down the hill down to the sewers with all the poop. And they even complain about it, which is quite funny.
They do, yeah. They shouldn't be able to smell anything. You complain about the sewers, and then you go to the generator bit where you've got to normally capture a generator, and then sometimes you've got to clear a generator of.
Because they're covered in shit. Not human shit, but Tyranids.
Barb strangle
pods. Pods. Randomly. And
you're normally getting bummed by all sorts of hordes and stuff and attacking you at any given time.
Yeah. If you're really unlucky, you get Carnifex there as well.
Yeah, or Neurothrope or something. You're like, ugh. But yeah, no, it's generally all right. It's not too bad.
No, it's good fun.
Surprised I haven't done this one before, actually, man. I need to do this one before. Pretty sure
the first time I did it was on the 4.
Sorry?
First time I did it was on a 4.
Oh, okay.
But then I have had a 25 a lot longer than you, so
Yeah,
that's
no, I
why.
was going to say, I've only just hit level 25 on my Vanguard, so we have to give that a go. Yeah, it's a good one. And then you get the final fight where you've basically got
It's
to
great.
charge up. You get a targeter. Basically, you get restricted to just your pistol, and you've got to use a targeter to line some las cannons up on a Hierophant and shoot it a shitload of times. And after you've done it
We've-
3 shots, you run out of charge. You've got to charge a generator by spinning a wheel like The Price is Right. And then going,
it's not always right for the Hierophant.
no, and then you go and shoot
But,
it again.
those bio cannons and the shit they
And then
leave
it
behind on
snots
the
all
floor.
over you, yeah, fires
Yeah,
bioplasma at you, and that hurts, man. If you
yeah,
get hit directly by one lot of that, you are fucked because it staggers you, and then you get hit by the rest.
and then and it leaves a load of shit on the floor that hurts as well.
Yeah,
And you've got to
and
get through it
it
to get
makes the
out.
floor all acidity and stuff.
Yeah,
But again, it's fun, man. I do enjoy
it is.
that last battle. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Again, I can't really think of anything I don't like about this one. I'd be tempted to give this a 5.
No, like I love the bit where you come up the lift and then you come out right at the end and
Oh,
the
and you just see
Hierophant,
the Hierophant walking by.
and
Yeah,
it
man.
just stomps right by you,
It's
looking
like,
at like
that's
it's
big.
fixed on the Imperial Guard, and it's just like, oh mate, that looks fucking awesome.
So
I've
yeah, that
always
was.
wanted, I've never justified it from Forge World like a Bio Titan.
Oh right, yeah. Apparently, the
But
legs are really like because there's nothing to really
dodgy,
attach it
yeah,
to the base because it's all spindly and
yeah,
pointy.
yeah. It's not great. You have to be very careful with the legs, otherwise they snap.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, me and Gribbs got us a Hyrule each. I've got a Scythed Hyrule with like the 4
Oh, and he got
massive
the barbed one,
Scythen
did he?
talons. Yeah, like I say, it's got the 4 massive Scythen talons, and then 1 fucking bioacid spray up on the carapace, which uses like a massive Hellstorm template that you can double up as a paddle,
Okay.
spanking bums. And he got the barbed, which is
Yeah.
just a pair of Scythen
That'd
talons.
be a
rather
good
than
fight
2
in this
pairs.
game. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah,
A Scythe
yeah,
Hyrule.
yeah. Scythe definitely, yeah. But
Twice the
barbed,
size
then
of a
it's got
Carnifex and twice as pissed off.
yeah. Then it's got the 2 bio cannons as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean they're supposed to be larger and tougher than a Carnifex. I'm not entirely sure that the tabletop game ever quite got that right. When I looked at the
No.
Codex
I
in earlier
mean,
editions, you've kind of got like
bear in
Carnifex
mind,
with the
back in the
2
day,
plus
they weren't a Carnifex type creature at all. They were just a smaller Hierophant.
Yeah. But they used to have
It was like the difference between a Mega Gargant and a Gargant.
they had structure points.
Yeah,
which
so it's just
operated
a different
bit
class
like
of Titan, whereas now they're just a big creature.
Yeah.
So
But putting those in would be cool. But no, like seeing a Hierophant in game. When they mentioned it, like in the upcoming thing, I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And it didn't disappoint. It was great.
yeah, no, it's a great encounter.
I'm kind of pleased that you don't have to try and whittle it down with the weapons that you're carrying yourself, because that would have just been like, it's a Bio Titan. Like, what the fuck do you think this is? It's not going to work that way.
Yeah, no, the way it works, I think the way it works is really good, and you just need 2 people handling the swarms while 1 person is restricted by their duty with the and talking about restricted, we've got the latest edition, Obelisk.
Oh, yeah. So I think for that last one, I'd probably give it a 3 with the Hierophant.
A 3?
Nah, just kidding. It's
I was
definitely
going to say, dude, 5 all day for long for me. So we've got Obelisk, which is a new one. Set right at the end of the campaign, like literally at the end of the campaign, you're just doing the other half of what they're doing. This is the most different one. This has got the biggest changes to it. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
You start off and there is wrecked armor all over the shop.
And it's old school armor as well.
Yep.
So it's like predators and rhinos. And
It's
like,
none of that fucking gladiator bollocks. And we thought they were Ultramarine at first, and it was like, oh no, Ultramarine tanks don't tend to have the demons on the muzzles of the guns.
No.
Not so much. And it's really cool. You fight your way through, and you come to this bit where you go down. There's like a valley, and you've got these Space Marine statues, like the Argonath going down a valley, and a massive crashed cargo ship with the Minotaurium containers scattered everywhere.
Yeah, that's a very good set.
And then a Hellbrute inevitably turns up and wrecks your day. Sorry, Saber, whoever that was, I'm not your fan. Stop that. Yeah. They shouldn't be able to teleport. It's fucking wrong.
Mechanically, like gameplay wise, I get it, because you don't want it just charging all over the place, because then it becomes just like another Carnifex.
It's another Carnifex, yeah.
But Teleporting Hellbrute, really?
It's not good at all. Like,
it's
I
not
shall
meant
engage it. You keep that busy over there with assault, Matt, and I shall engage it from range from my sniper. What do you mean it's
Yeah,
behind me?
yeah. I'm like, that's not a very good idea because it's gonna. Oh, there it goes. It's vanished. And you're like, what do you mean it's vanished? It's like
Why
it's
is that?
because
Why
it's
is there
now
an orange? Why is there an orange semi arc behind? Oh,
yeah, it's now in your face instead, and you never saw it coming.
but yeah, and then this one after that, you go down to the relic bit, and you've got to
Yeah,
basically pick up a relic, like a
it's like
grail, a
another
shiny, a
tomb.
shiny grail, and
Yeah,
wander around in the dark.
not Castle Anthrax, unfortunately.
Not castle. and then a good spanking.
Please no.
God, just a little bit of peril. No,
Yeah,
not good for
it's
you.
far too perilous.
Far too perilous. And yeah, while you've got that, you can't melee. You can just kick things. You
Yeah,
can't use your ability, and you can't use your main weapon.
yeah, it's just boots and a sidearm.
It's perilous.
It is definitely perilous,
And
and it's
what's
pitch
worse
black.
is you're the only source of light, and if your squad mates get too far away from you, they start to lose armor and then start to lose health.
Yep, in the dark by themselves.
Yeah, in the in the long dark of Molia, and
Pretty
then
dangerous.
you have places where you can put the relic down if you do need to fight, because sometimes you will need to fight. But it goes one or two ways, doesn't it? So you've either got the bit where you've got to activate two consoles, one of which is a long way away from the relic and is probably going to get you
Yeah,
fucking murdered
yeah,
from
and
darkness damage.
you'll make it back to the light without dying if you're lucky.
Yeah. And then the next console's a bit closer. And then the other one, the other version of the fight, or the other version of that section, is you have to activate a servo skull S.
Yay! Another little female, another little cute servo skull,
And
it's
she sort of wakes up and goes,
yeah.
I'm going to recite the listening, you need to get through this door.
Yeah.
And then the relic bit's over.
Yeah.
And then you've got like more fighting ahead of you. There's an ammo pod outside that door, thankfully, so you can get ammo. And then you get to the next kind of tedious bit of the game.
Puzzly bit. I quite like it. I proper enjoyed this bit. This is like the
it's all
turntables
right.
for me. I'm like, you put puzzly bits in my game. Thank you very much.
You've got to rotate some islands basically. So what happens is the sorcerer turns up, gets a bit Saturday villain, goes, "You'll never get me, Ultramarines. Look how I rearranged the landscape." And you're like, aside from the fact that Titus can clearly jump fucking 20 foot to a predator and drop a frag grenade in it, so it could quite clearly jump over an 8-foot gap. Apparently, you need to rotate islands until they match up.
So fair, I don't think Saber had seen that. So
yeah. Should we put it on Twitter and tag them and go, wait, what gives? Yeah, you got to basically stay by the altar, and then the altar moves around.
Yeah, it moves
it rotates the islands, and you've got to make the configuration right so you can get across.
Yeah, which I thought is quite enjoyable. It makes a change.
It's different.
None of the other missions really do it.
It's a bit of a chore and it's like the turntables. I'm just like, but it's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, and if you stay within the aura too long, you can
go past the point.
It goes too far, and you can't reverse it. So then you have to wait for them all to come back round again while staying in that same point. So just don't fuck it up.
Yeah, which could be. I mean, they give you audio cues, don't they? Like, oh, the gap is too far to jump, and then it's like, the lands are aligned and stuff like that. Yeah. So you do get audio cues. It's okay. It's a little bit.
And then you've got the sorcerer fight at the end, which isn't too bad at lower difficulties, but then it becomes an absolute bastard.
Yes.
Because there's so many dudes to fight.
The Saturday villain sorcerer's got a shield all over him, and you can't touch him. And what he does, they've got some orbs floating around like eyes that you've got to shoot. And I think there's 3 lots of 3 that you've got to shoot.
Yeah, I think they do it in clusters.
Yeah, and you've got to shoot all those to take his shields down, and while being bombarded with bad guys.
Yeah, and then it becomes like a standard sorcerer fight.
And then after that, it's not too bad at all. If you concentrate on the sorcerer, you'll take him out real quick. Yeah. But you've still got loads of friends and stuff fighting. And if you're trying to get the bonus for executing loads of stuff, you want to be killing it all.
Oh, that's new. Yeah. There's a new execution bonus where if you kill the majority of the hostiles in a map, you get bonus XP. I think what they've done, they've nerfed the XP that you get for completing each individual checkpoint, like section in the level.
Yeah.
And they've just bundled it up into like a sliding scale of how many.
Although you still get a lot more than you used to, so it is a bonus overall.
It's definitely more than it used to be.
You know, we're walking out. If we get the A rank execution bonus, which we normally do, we're walking
Yeah.
out of the level 3 with like 1,300 experience.
Yeah, it's
So
good.
you
And I
will
think
level up quicker, but it's designed. There's a lot of people who are just running through levels,
yeah, it
getting
stops them
to
speed running it.
getting to assembly points, shutting the doors behind them, and just not really killing the enemy like you should do as a loyal son of the Emperor. So Saber
Yeah,
turned around and went, okay, well, we'll give you an incentive to do it. And I think that's really good. I think that's really good because
yeah, smart move.
anything that makes you level faster is more fun.
Yeah, this offers a 5 for me, blatantly.
It's not a 5 for me. It's not a 5 for me. Especially if you're the one carrying the relic, it's a bit like, at the
Yeah,
end, you look at the 1 star you've picked up while all your compatriots have
most
picked up
damage
all the
taken.
fucking stars. That and the island rotating is a bit of liability for me. I'll put this at a 3.5 since we're doing half points. Might grow on me. It's only been out for 2 days.
Yeah,
Might grow
I
on
like
me as time goes on. But I think
I like the different mechanics in it, so it's a 5 for me.
yeah, I think I'd like those sections to be a bit shorter. I think that after you've had the encounter with the servo skull, or after you've had the encounter with the consoles, if they ended the tunnels there, and that was the end, and you came out, that would be fine. But the bit where you have to go through another load of dark, carrying the relic is a bit of an arse ache. And with the islands, I appreciate that they've got one where you just activate the altar and it just brings the land down.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's a bit
I'd
hit and
like
miss as to whether you get that or not.
yeah, I think I'd like one more of those swapped out for a rotating of the islands. I think we'd be at the right level kind of thing. But there's no bad ones, which is why I said that we won't rate in even 1 or 2 because I don't think there's any bad ones.
None of them are crap.
Over the whole thing, the only bit I genuinely do not like is the second half of that Hive Tyrant fight, which is just fucking painful. And it may well be that I just need to get better at dodging and all that kind of shit. But
it's very class dependent, though.
Yeah, it's an absolute pain if you're playing as Phobos armor. You are going to, which I have up till now, exclusively. You're going to have a bad day. Those 2 points of armor disappear in one hit. So the final part of this mega C.H.E.B.S is going to be this video by Adam something, who has achieved ultimate power. He has 1.2 million subscribers compared to our 650 odd, and we love every single one of you. But he's not a Warhammer channel. This Adam something is generally, I would describe it as a left-wing commentary channel, I suppose. Hates Trump, hates Elon Musk, does lots of videos about left-wing kind of stuff. Just to give you some perspective, not that left-wing is inherently awful, unless you're rabid with it, I would say. But just to give you some perspective, he's not a Warhammer channel. He's clearly familiar with Warhammer on some level, but at the same time, an awful lot of his content and viewpoints from this seem to come from Twitter or from other people.
Yeah, he says he mentions that he plays in the video, whether that's the truth or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know nothing about this guy. I've not even done any research on him.
I'm not bothered. I clicked on his channel and looked at what his other videos were just to see if he'd ever done anything about Warhammer before.
I'm assuming the answer is a no.
And the answer is no. He likes trains. He thinks trains are great. He likes trains as much as he doesn't like Elon Musk and Tesla.
He'll like one of those options Post Marine 2 then.
So yeah, I'm not going to play his video here. I just want it in the background because you've made copious notes and I've had my own thoughts. So what we'll do is if we go through your points that you made, because I'm sure you've been fairly detailed, but it seems like a very bad faith argument. As an overview, he kind of he goes through Starship Troopers and then compares Starship Troopers and then basically goes to Space Marine game and goes, oh, why can't the game make the Space Marines more Nazi-like, basically? Because they're Nazis, even though they aren't. Like, dude, this guy sees Nazis everywhere. He's one of those people where if you're not aligned with him, you're a Nazi. But yeah, I'm sure you've made some points, dude. So let's go through them and address them, and we'll just debunk his video. There's been people who've done it previously, but a lot of them tend to get a bit personal, a bit political about it, and I don't want to do that. I just want to take his points apart factually, if that makes sense.
Like we don't know the guy. We don't really do politics on this channel beyond me going fucking Trump, Brexit's a fucking nonsense.
I don't want to do drama.
No.
And I'm ambivalent about Trump, to be honest. I think he's entertaining. I think the second season of Trump's presidency. You know, the finale
Like the
should be
final season. The
yeah,
final season.
yeah, the
Thankfully.
finale could be very interesting. We'll see what happens. I
Yeah.
really am. When it comes to politically, I'd like to think I'm about as centrist as it gets, and I think that the extreme left and the extreme right are absolutely mental and all throwing shit at each other, while sane people cowering, or not cowering in the corner, but sort of huddle in the middle and just go like, "Please, can you fucking stop and just be
We
sane
won't be able to put up with this shit.
for one
I mean,
minute?"
yeah, we're pretty much the same
Yeah.
when it comes to that. But yeah, so the political discourse, lol, is entirely out of the scope of this channel.
Yes.
Frankly,
And if he
like,
wasn't talking about Warhammer, we wouldn't be talking about it. It's as simple as that.
no, not at all.
But he said some
Um,
stuff about Warhammer that we think is wrong,
yeah,
essentially.
and he seems to have like a passing familiarity with Warhammer and Marines, but he seems to view the whole thing through like a fairly skewed lens.
Which is a recent thing. Let's be honest. It's only recently that this has started happening.
Yeah, yeah,
This has only
and
started
like,
happening in, I would say, like the last 5, maybe slightly, maybe say, let's just be generous and say 2016, when a certain orange man took presidency the first time round.
also Brexit.
And Brexit, yes, exactly. And the thing that we thought,
2016 was a fucking bad vintage.
the thing that we thought would never happen.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I worked in stocks and shares and fucking property funds, and I was like, "What do you mean everybody's trying to sell all their fucking properties because of Brexit?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this never used to be a thing back in the day, and now it is.
Not at all.
Where people just like to take things apart for some reason.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's like you like this for escapism, and you don't want it to be involved with the real world, and you don't want to be involved with politics. Well, fuck you. I'm going to, and you have no choice.
The thing is, like with 40k, it's pretty much as far from the real world as you can get.
Of course, it
like
is.
I mean, fundamentally, it came out of the Thatcherism of the 1980s, and it was kind of like a slightly bohemian, nerdy reaction to that.
Yeah.
By a whole bunch of people, including the magnificent Rick Priestley, who penned the original edition of like 40k. Like,
yeah, but it was never particularly sort of it was never particularly vitriolic or sort of like, oh, I hate the Tories, I hate all the Tories should die. I'm going to make a fucking game. There's slight nods to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you would expect from somebody who'd lived through the, I don't know, poll tax or that, the Thatcherite years.
Yeah, the poll tax rights, damn. I mean, I was a kid when that happened, but I still kind of remember.
Yeah. But, it was kind of subtle enough that they weren't, I don't know, they weren't really overt with it. Like you could, they were subtle. I don't know if there was any intent. I don't think there was, if I'm being honest. But if there was, it was very subtle in the background. It was just a load of different influences and sources all mixed together to be something new to sell a sci-fi version of a fantasy game.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like the whole tone of early 40k, which is where fundamentally, I keep saying that the current edition of 40k is born from, was a satire, but not an overtly political one, to pretty much the same level as 2000 AD was, or still is,
yes.
maybe. In that you can entirely separate it from anything in the real world, but there's still a few little subtle hints to say like, oh, this is referring to that, and it sucks. But none of it's overt, really. And it's like, it came out of escapism.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like escapism blended originally, like with like fantasy tropes and D&D born references in a sci-fi filter.
Yeah.
Kind of way.
I mean, it is sci-fi, but at the same time, it's almost beyond sci-fi.
Science.
There's a lot of non-sci-fi tropes in it. There's no high sci-fi in it.
No. They've always, I think, Games Workshop, whenever you speak to one of the main developers, if you're ever lucky enough to go to an open day, which they seem to just not do anymore, when you speak to someone who's actually actively involved in the development of the game long term, like an old school person, they will almost refer to it as science fantasy.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's a far more accurate term.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no highbrow sci-fi in this, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, more like Star Wars than Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. And I think a lot of 40k one is influenced by 2000 AD, because they shed a lot of artists in the early days. All you got to do is look through the Rogue Trader rulebook.
God, yeah, you got Pat Mills in there and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know him by name. I just recognise the style, and I'm just like, yeah, clearly from the same place, you know. Um, and I think it is heavily influenced by stuff that came before it in a sci-fi vein,
Yeah.
like Starship Troopers and Dune.
Yep. Dune is a massive
Like,
influence.
yeah, I think
And
they're
let's
both.
not forget also religious elements.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean,
like
like
like the emperor and his
Crusade.
climax is essentially God and his fucking angels, and one of them falls and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's certainly a Christianity kind of
Yeah,
uh, element to it, like a parable kind of thing, I suppose.
yeah.
Because
Although that wasn't
they
really
took
a
ideas from everything. You know,
yeah.
they weren't restricted.
Although that wasn't really a thing in the first place, because I think the Horus Heresy was
No,
literally like
it
one.
came in second, didn't it? But you
Yeah,
know,
it was like a small paragraph in Rogue Trader,
yeah.
and that was it. And now look at it, like a billion books and a much better tabletop game.
But certainly the God Emperor and everything could be, you know, June there, and you've got a certain amount of sort of uh, theological influence even back in those days with the worship
Yeah,
and everything. That was all there.
yeah. Even in June as well, it's got that element.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, not a lot of it is original, but the way it's been put together kind of is. I think like the way
Yeah,
that things have
yeah.
been
It's
mixed up.
greater than the sum of its parts, certainly.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it wouldn't have lasted for as long as it does, and arguably now it's at its biggest point than it's ever been. As
For
I'm
better
sure
or for
Games
worse,
Workshop's,
yes, absolutely.
as I'm sure Games Workshop's profits will attest to.
Mm.
Um, but you know, so this guy is clearly familiar with the subject matter at hand, passingly, but he tends to either not know enough to know that he's wrong, or he just bends stuff to suit himself.
Yes.
Um, which is kind of a thing. So like he kind of compared it to Starship Troopers, and like a billion people have seen the film. Like we won't talk about the sequels because they don't really matter.
No.
But you know, not as many people have read the original novel that the film was based on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as you'd expect. It's a lot more detailed and slightly different to the film.
Yes.
In that the aliens have like the bugs have an ally in it called skinnies,
Mm-hmm.
which is what they're called in the book. But I think they're kind of more of like a humanoid kind of alien with limited technology who help them out. And then halfway through the war, like the book, they switch sides and they become allies with the Terran Federation instead. And that alone kind of fucks up some of his arguments that he was making.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, he was saying like, oh, in Starship Troopers, you have to be like in the military to actually get anywhere, and 40Ks like that, only the military stuff really gets a mention. And it's like, well, yeah, because if you're gonna have a tabletop fucking game based on
War,
what is fundamentally based on historical reenactment wargaming, it's going to be boring as shit if you put civilians in it. Oh,
yes.
half my army is civilians, and it's like, what the fuck are you going to do with those?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, unless it's like the odd kind of narrative mission where you've got to protect a handful of people.
And
like
you can
models
get
or
that kind of
something.
stuff when it gets to something like Necromunda.
Yeah,
So you can get like
exactly.
these weird and wonderful characters that we've discussed.
Yeah,
like
like
the dude
hangers-on.
who takes the fucking corpses and then turns them
Yeah.
into suspicious meat for you and stuff like that, you know. But as you correctly say, when you're doing a war game, it's going to be
Yeah.
soldiers on the battlefield. It's that simple.
Yeah, yeah. Like Clue is in the name.
Yeah.
It's war. Like the first three letters in the title for the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would it not have a focus on war?
Yeah,
when
it's Warhammer,
a
not
war
People
game?
Hammer.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not fucking the political hammer or fluffy hammer
Yeah.
or nice hammer or everyone is accepted
Nice
hammer.
It's like a game of Nice Hammer, Nice Hammer 40,000.
Yeah, it might as well just be called fucking Grim Hammer.
Yes,
because that's it. And if you go into this, like, you know, into the hobby, expecting some fluffiness and rainbows and to see the modern world echoed in it and yourself represented, then you're probably doing it wrong.
Yes,
because the whole point of having a hobby like this, which is not based in reality and is set like 40,000 years into the future, is that it's not supposed to be like the fucking modern world, and that's why we like it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's it. It's escapism. I want to get away from the new.
Exactly.
I want to get away from the lefties and the righties screaming at each other. I want to get away from any Nazis. I want to get away from any anti-FIFA and any gender fucking politics and any of that bollocks. And I just don't want it. If you want your representation in there, that's up to you. But I don't want that discussion. I want to play a game to forget about things and have fun with my mates. I want to immerse myself in a universe to get away from the real world.
Which is the entire crux of the hobby.
Yes.
like you do painting and stuff generally to not be involved in anything like around you unless
Hmm.
you're with a group of people that are all doing the same thing because you're all into the hobby. Like you do the reading, you read the books because you want to get away from what's going on outside and you want to lose yourself in the book or you want to find out stuff about something that's not reality.
Hmm.
You know, so having expecting representation and then demanding it when it's not there is a little bit disingenuous because it's not what it's for. And if you, like you said, if you want to put your own representation in there, like as a little bit of like law for your own army, then knock yourself out. Like no one's really gonna like belittle you for that. Your army's yours. But when you start screaming and shouting that your view of 40k isn't what it's like, and you demand that it should be, then you can just fuck off.
Yes, I
Like,
mean we'll get to that.
make your own.
That comes a lot later. So
Yeah,
obviously that's his solution to everything.
yeah,
Unsurprisingly, is to
and
make it
yeah,
more like what I want and to completely make it not what it actually is.
yeah,
Cheers, Adam.
and
I think we'll put a pin in that and not come back to you later.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, and and in the he compared it to Starship Troopers, and he
Hmm.
basically said, I'm paraphrasing now because I can't be bothered to watch his video for a second time.
No, no, no. I have no
Um,
intention of going through it
and
at
he,
all. I mean, yeah,
uh,
he gets to a point. See, straight. That is one of the things I fucking loved. Straight away, within 2 minutes, he uses Elon Musk to try and fucking sell his promotion, fucking delete me sponsorship. And I'm like, dude, just shut the fuck up. But yeah, he goes
yeah,
on about Starship Troopers and he basically says how that is jingoistic. But then the bit where he really started losing me straight away, first of all, after like insulting the author and all that kind of shit, was when he started saying that the meteor attack on Buenos Aires was a false flag operation to start the war um,
oh,
with the bugs.
that's Storbo. You carry on talking.
And I'm just like, dude, really? Excuse me? Like, and on top of that, like he's going, oh, it's taken millions of years to reach it. Well, the fucking ships get there. They've got faster than light travel. These bugs are meant to be intelligent. Maybe they've got a wormhole or some shit. Like you can't fucking just turn around and go, oh yeah, it's a fucking false flag operation, and therefore that makes everybody in the fucking film evil, and that's definitely what fucking Paul Verhoeven was going for. And then just like, well, like sometimes a blue book is just blue. I mean, it's well known that Paul Verhoeven did, sort of make it in this way on purpose because he misunderstood the book, and the film is a very different thing from the book, as you correctly say.
I return.
But
Yes.
to turn around and just go, oh yeah, it was a false flag operation, and like they're all fucking Nazis and shit like that, and I'm just like, what,
Nah,
dude?
not so much.
Seriously? Like,
Yeah, no,
no.
no. It's. I would argue that the Terran Federation in Starship Troopers is certainly like a nationalist state.
Yes, yeah,
Wouldn't
exactly. Yeah, the idea
necessarily
is,
say that it's a fascist one,
yeah,
and
it's
therefore
not
can't
fashion.
be
I mean,
Nazis.
Christ, it's got so much freedom. It's not true.
I know.
You don't have to become a fucking soldier. It's a way to guarantee citizenship.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that was my gnomes turning up at the front door.
Oh, good. I'm glad they're here. Rather
Um,
late, but I'm glad they're here.
oh boy, I'm just glad they got delivered because tomorrow I'm in the office. Yeah, and he basically compared the two, and as you said, like in Starship Troopers, the military is the upper class
Mm.
slash citizenship.
Yes.
You kind of become like a quasi elite if you've
Yeah,
served,
it's
and
where
it
the prestige
guarantees
is,
you,
isn't it?
yeah, extra rights. Whereas in 40k, the military is a necessity
Yes.
for a lot of people.
Yes.
It's like you don't often get a choice.
And
Like
yeah, and the reason you get conscripted in the military in the Imperium is because they are literally being destroyed on all sides, and human life is kind of cheap, but also needed to keep
yeah,
filling the ranks of people who keep fucking dying.
because if you run out of humans, you don't really have an Imperium anymore, which is
Exactly.
kind of the point
You
in
know,
fighting for it.
human blood is
Um,
the I can't remember what the quote is
yeah,
what keeps the Imperium machine running. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there's all sorts of cool quotes like that, which he also
we'll just
has a
say
go
that
at and says all those quotes are fucking
we'll just
fascistic
say
and
that
Nazi as well.
it's the lifeblood of the Imperium.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That. Yeah, and I just also said like the 40k military is not a ruling class, and nor is it a particularly desirable occupation to have.
No.
Not every culture wants to lose their children to Marines, like to become an Astartes. Like, read some of the Carcharodon novels. Although I'm never sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Carcharodon is
Um,
correct.
yeah, when they kind of rock up and they, like in Red Tide, they literally say, "Give us your children, or we'll murder you and take them because our need for new recruits is greater than your need for having kids."
Yeah.
And these are the good guys, you know. Um, some places like Ultramar, they're happy to have their marine, like, their offspring recruited into the Marines.
Yes, it's an
Other
honour. They
places,
have
not so much.
statues of people
Yeah,
that get taken. They become legends. But that's Ultramar. That's the 500 world mini Imperium.
yeah.
It's a
It,
different
it,
kind
it,
of.
it varies.
People don't suffer. People are happy. They're not, savage worlds or anything like that. It's
No.
a completely different kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the whole spectrum of different worlds where they recruit, where any chapters recruit from, and the attitude towards them recruiting it also varies depending on where they are and what world it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not a given that people actually want to do it, so it's quite different there. Um, and he also kind of, I'm not too sure what point he made, but the line in my notes says 40k Xenos, lol, ST Federation allies with skinnies. So I think he was saying like they both treat aliens the same way.
Yeah. He
In
was
that they're
basically saying like, I mean, this guy's. I don't want to be too harsh, but he's such a twat. He was basically like, the Imperium um, treats all aliens, as second class citizens, won't even communicate with them, has never even tried talking to the Tyranids. I'm like, dude, like, fucking no. Like, it's made
no,
quite clear at the start of the setting that humanity is beset on all
yeah,
sides. It's not a
it's like
case of
that.
these dudes are just, the aliens are just out there peacefully, and the humans are just like, yeah, we're going to fucking have a go at you. Then, humanity stretched out to the stars and found lots and lots of things that wanted to kill it.
Yeah, I mean, there may have been elements of that during the time of the Great Crusade.
For sure. Oh no, I mean
When we,
individually, and this is another thing that I want to
but,
get to a little bit later, where he generalises about Space Marines big time. Like
mm,
individually, for sure, in the Great Crusade, there would be an awful lot of worlds that humanity was, let's be honest, reclaiming, not for the first time, reclaiming. They'd gone
yeah,
out there, established colonies, and then lost contact with them during the Old Night. Is it? I think.
yes, I'll do it.
And they're
On the
going
age of,
out and reclaiming.
AKA the Age of Strife.
Yeah, exactly. So they're reclaiming these worlds. They're not. They're not. It's not like it's an alien world and they're like, this is ours. This has never been ours. We're taking this nice country. We'll have it. Thank you very much. It's a
That
case of
sounds quite like an Eldar thing.
yes. It's a case of we used to have this. We're now taking it back.
Yeah,
There is it's a subtle difference, but there is a difference in my opinion.
yeah.
So like this used to be ours. We're now reclaiming it, and of course the Imperium does bad things. We know they do bad things, but it is all based upon the furtherment
Survival.
of survival and of humanity. So yeah, as you say, he was like aliens. The Federation just went out there, started the war, and another thing where he lost me completely was like, oh, it's designed to make you hate the aliens because the Nazis made the Jews look like lice and spiders, and therefore that ties into your white supremacist feelings.
Yeah, it's like the
And I'm
aliens
like,
aren't second class
what?
citizens, right? The aliens aren't part of the Imperium and being mistreated. They are
They're a threat
they are untrustworthy at
at
best and
best.
outright offensive and lethal at worst.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Like
like
every single race in 40k is out for themselves.
yes, 40k. There are no
there's no
good guys.
there's no long term allying with anyone else
No,
for the betterment.
the Eldar
There's
are
always
capricious at most. You can like trust them for 5 minutes, but they're probably going to stab you in the back.
yeah, and it seems that modern Necrons are kind of in a similar vein in that they'll ally with like the classic is Blood Angels
Oh god, yeah,
to avoid
Brofist,
getting to avoid getting
Matt
deleted.
Ward special.
No. I get it. Like to avoid being deleted by a Tyranid hive fleet, I understand. They're both sentient races who want dominion of a particular area of space.
Yeah,
Working together to defeat someone who's going to destroy you both is beneficial, more beneficial than just getting wrecked
yeah, and like
because you were
I'll
too
deal
proud.
with you later, kind of thing, isn't it? Basically.
Exactly, yeah. And then further down the line, as soon as that alliance is no longer required, people are going to die.
Yes.
Like it's very short term at best, and everyone's like, "Ah, Necron Bravest," and it's like, really? It's more like I need to work with you, or we're both dead.
An
So what do you
alliance of
say?
convenience.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly that.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, the situation is, as I say, certainly more nuanced than he he alluded to.
Yeah,
So he carries on with all his stuff, you know, and I want to kind of dismiss the Starship Troopers part of it almost entirely, because Starship Troopers and 40k are two very, very different things.
yeah,
But I mean, to be fair, like the Nazis did dehumanize Jews by using this kind of propaganda. Um, I also take umbrage with the fact he says insects, and these are clearly arachnids, even the lice. Learn your invertebrates, Adam something. The something clearly does not stand for entomologist. Um, but yeah, he talks about the importance of aesthetic and all these obviously, you know, good looking guys and stuff, and you know, against the horrible bugs. And then he gets into 40k and just flat out calls it a a Nazi a Nazi environment, and says that
Jesus.
the Space Marines, the reason he hates Space Marines, or doesn't hate, he likes Space Marine 2 the game, but he wants it to show the Space Marine atrocities, killing 10,000 people, uh,
Yeah,
10,000 women and children. He said he wants to see that. He wants to see that side of Space Marines. Now, there's no doubting that obviously the Space Marines have been toned down a little bit for Space Marine 2. Certainly a bit more heroic than we would normally see, but obviously all the chapters are different. But
a
Adam,
bit more
something I don't
noble.
know how to tell you this, wiping out 10,000 civilians because of Chaos Taint is not something that Space Marines would do on a daily basis. They are
No,
humanity's protectors.
they're like special forces. If you want to delete an entire planet, you can go and speak to the Inquisition.
Yeah. Um, so while the Space Marines sometimes certainly do unsavoury things, it's not their main role.
No,
They are a elite strike force that is being used to do certain things. Could there now and again be an occurrence where they maybe have to kill people who may be innocent? Maybe. But it's about killing millions or thousands or whatever to save billions. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. So I definitely took umbrage to his statement that Space Marines are brainwashed Nazis,
no,
because they're not brainwashed Nazis.
no. I mean, Nazi is a very specific term that applies to a political party
Yeah,
from
but
the
it's
20th
not now,
century.
unfortunately.
Well, yeah, no, it's been
Nowadays,
co-opted
Nazis is
by
bandied
people.
about as anybody who, you know, it,
I
it,
mean, I mean, nowadays it's more used as a term, as a like an abbreviation for neo-Nazi.
yeah, it's got
It's one
nothing
of
to
it's
do with the party at all anymore. It's
no,
association.
it's one of those words like boomer, where kids use it to apply to anyone that's older than them.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
make you right. Yeah, boomers are baby boomers.
Yes,
They're all roughly 60 to 70 years old now. Not just anyone that's older than you. It was a specific generation.
yes.
So yeah, I mean,
Um,
words have meaning. Like they may kind of get co-opted and used for different things over time.
yes.
Doesn't make it right.
But again, it's nuance, isn't it? That's what's missing.
Yeah,
And that's
it's
what's
a lot of
missing
them.
in this guy's argument, because you know, Space Marines can do noble things. You know, the
And
Salamanders are known for doing noble things, more so than other Space Marines, whereas something
and
like
they're
the
black.
Marines Malevolent or the Mortifactors at the other end of the scale,
Yeah,
or the Carcharodons, as we've said, are more
yeah,
brutal, and you know that's what makes it interesting. If all Space Marines were the same, it would be kind of boring.
yeah. Oh, different color armor, different planet.
Mm,
Oh, that one's got long teeth, the other one hasn't. You
yeah,
know, you have to make it a bit more, like you said, nuanced than
yeah.
that. It has to be different.
I'd like to see some Space Marines that are renegades, not Chaos Space Marines, but renegade bands that are out for themselves, that
Yeah,
loot ships to keep themselves. You know, we
we
used to
used to
have
have
that.
those. Plus 30k's got black shields, which are exactly that,
Yes. Although
which is
they're
good.
more, again, they're more on the noble side of things. I'm talking about renegade
Not
Space Marines that have left
no,
the Imperium.
not necessarily. Black shield is just a term applied to any particular organisation of Astartes that have quit their legion and don't follow their Primarch, and they
Mm.
literally just band together and do what they want.
Yeah, they're still normally being fairly loyalist and stuff. It's them fighting for their chapter without being in, sorry, for their legion without being in their legion, isn't it? I'm talking
Yeah, but
more about like the old days of the Marine Malevolent, almost like the Astral Claws scenario, where they turn into
what, like the
the,
Bad Ab War?
yeah, almost like that, but not quite as Saturday villain. You know, again, nuance in between. You know, I imagine these
Yeah,
like literally like those 3 Space Marines left, and they just go around, and they're these huge fucking guys, not as huge as Primaris, obviously, because they're stupid. But you've got these three space marines that just go around, and they've got patchwork armor, and they're just going around doing it what they want, kind of thing, having completely left any kind of, they're sick of the control of the Imperium or something like that, but they've not turned to chaos. Again, nuance you can have in between. We don't have that in between at the moment in Warhammer. We have the good guys and the bad guys, and I want to see more shades of grey. Preferably not 50 though. But yeah, his analysis and his viewpoint of Space Marines is extraordinarily narrow.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, these guys are just going around doing atrocities all the time. Why aren't they doing it in this game? Well, for one thing, that wouldn't make for a very fun game.
No.
Basically.
No.
And he's just like, oh yeah, you get to go around and kill Tyranids, and that's just fine. Yes, that is just fine. They're basically a fucking pest that's trying to eat everybody. And you get to go around and kill Chaos Space Marines, and they're evil as well. Yes, they fucking are. It's as simple as that.
Pretty much.
They're the ones that are most likely to go around and kill 10,000 humans. You know what I mean?
I mean, once again, in 30k, it's a lot more nuanced. Like some Chaos chapters or heretics are outright evil. Some of them are just fucked over by circumstance.
Yes.
And they kind of have to join up.
Turn to evil, though. I mean, Chaos is generally all evil,
Yeah, pretty much.
As you say, there's different circumstances on them turn into chaos. Like the Alpha Legion even think they're doing the right thing, which I'm not too sure about. But, they're sort of like, this is the way to make the Imperium stronger in the end. So they're technically almost kind of still loyal. I appreciate the nuance that's tried to be put in there, but
nice one, Dan Abner. We see what you did there, and we love you anyway because you're a fantastic author and you do good work. But we're not sure about that one.
Yeah, not sure about that one. And then you obviously got the twin Primarchs and everything as well. And obviously this guy doesn't even get into Horus Heresy, whereas a lot of that stuff might have
probably never played it.
But this guy's very short-sighted view is basically that Space Marines are fascists, and that should be represented in this game.
Yeah, the other side point that bugged me with this was whenever he mentioned Tyranids, he went, "Oh, sorry, Zerg."
Oh, and I'm like, Tyranids came first, dude.
And I'm like, you do fucking realise that Tyranids were a thing almost a decade before Blizzard released StarCraft 2.
Yeah, and that was mainly due to Andy Chambers working for Blizzard, from what I remember.
No, I mean, sorry, I meant StarCraft. I mean,
StarCraft.
Andy Chambers ended up working on StarCraft 2 after he left Games Workshop. He worked for Blizzard, but that's why in StarCraft 2 you can adapt and mutate your Zerg.
Yes, which you can no longer do in 40k, unfortunately. Yeah, no, I mean, I there's loads of people going, oh, tourist. I'm like, is he a tourist? Maybe, but he's not well informed. Yes, the Tyranids were around a long time before the Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, they're mentioned in Rogue Trader, although it's more of a proto-Tyranid than a Tyranid.
Yeah, that was back when they were rocking around with the Zotes and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was like, what, 1988, 89?
Yeah, about that.
Which is a full decade before StarCraft came out. But I did have a quick gander, and the White Dwarf that's got the first Rogue Trader era Tyranid Codex in it was like 1991, I think.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's like almost a decade ahead. So by going, oh, Zerg lol, he's kind of like saying, oh look, Games Workshop can't even fucking come up with a decent villain. These guys suck as well. And it's like, well, no, it's exactly the other way around. Although props to Blizzard because they do good work as well. I'm not criticising them for having Zerg in a game.
No.
But
no. Let's face it, GW borrowed loads of stuff from everyone. I mean, there's certainly an amount of the Xenomorph in Gene Stealers.
Yeah. Especially the original Gene Stealers.
Exactly.
Again, from Rogue Trader.
So, not to say that, it's not fine to borrow from different IPs, because GW have made a fucking IP out of it. They've made an IP out of borrowing from IPs. I took umbrage with his very narrow view of 40k. It's this fascistic...
Like I said, he used it in a way that suits his own ideology, and he's like, oh yeah, I hate this because I look at things a certain way and this has to be that way, and if it's not, then it's bad. Yeah,
it's authoritative, but I don't think it's particularly fascist.
Fascist.
I mean, while it can be, you can draw lines with it being a satire on fascism. I don't think the Imperium is a fascist society as it is, because generally, if you pay your tithes, be it people or whatever, and worship the Emperor, you're more or less left alone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, like race doesn't really come into it,
At
like because
all, at all.
it's like a billion planets,
Yeah, and
so
we'll get
there's
to that in a minute
obviously
as well, because that's
many
one of
many
his things that he
races in
says.
that are part of the
If you're
Imperium.
human, you're
Um,
fine, and they're even fine with
yeah,
some abhumans, Ogrins,
yeah,
you
that's what
know,
I was about to say. You know, and
Ratlings.
there's some abhumans as well, which are also accepted. So you know, mutation is kind of accepted to a certain degree,
Again, it's the
but
worship
where
of the emperor that's important. It's a
yeah,
religious,
but
theocratic
like
society more than
yeah,
anything else.
but where like the Inquisition and thus the Imperium as a whole kind of draw a line is where something deviates too far from the norm and thus becomes a danger.
Yes.
So where you've got like witches, you know, it's not that the fact that they're a witch in itself that's a problem. It's a fact that most witches without discipline or control, which is in 40k most natural psychers, more or less,
Yes.
they pose a danger.
Yes.
Like they pose a danger to their society. They pose a danger from like getting possessed by warp entities and all sorts of stuff, and they become like it could be a literal gateway for chaos.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that.
So they need to be like collected and rounded up and screened, and then either taught
Or fed to the emperor.
or used, or say in a more subtle way. And it's the same with beliefs. Like deviate too far from worshipping the emperor, then you leave yourself open to the influence of chaos. And
Exactly. Yeah.
everyone knows that is also a problem. Same with gene stealer cults.
Yes.
You know, if
Yep.
someone's belief deviates a little bit too far, and maybe their emperor gets an extra pair of arms,
Yeah.
maybe. You know, again, very serious problem
Hmm.
because not only is it going to subvert the society on that planet, becomes a danger to every other populated planet in the system via like interplanetary, like I think osmosis would be the word, where they'll just spread from planet to planet and spread their belief
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
guess how osmosis
subversion
works.
as
It's
they
through a
can.
membrane, isn't it? Normally, but yeah, the simile works. The analogy works. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been a very long time since I did biology at school, and then also an
Drawing
issue
willies in all the
because
books.
yeah, and then also an issue because you know due to the cult presence can attract high fleets,
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
which no one really wants except for the high fleet.
It's a lot more
Maybe
nuanced.
they
You know,
choose to the cult.
the Imperium isn't necessarily that way because it wants to be. The Imperium is that way because it needs to be.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
is a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean the guy went on to label Space Marine 2 as like a AAA game, which I think is a common misconception.
it's not a
Saber
triple A
are
studio. It's a very
not a
small
AAA
studio that's
studio.
worked on it.
Yeah, I mean Saber are not a AAA studio by
Right?
any stretch at all. They just I think a lot of their work is based in Central and Eastern Europe,
Yeah, there's sort of
where
Baltic
you kind of
states, I think, somewhere.
yeah. I mean you just look at the credit listing for the names and you're like, oh okay, and you know and you can still get a decent quality of development work done out there for a lot less than it would be in say the States,
Mhm.
where people expect to be paid a lot more,
Well,
and
that,
thus
and you've also got all sorts of Hollywood influenced bloat in
yeah,
game development.
yeah,
So
you
you've
know,
got
and
like whole
people
writing rooms and fucking sensitivity readings and all that
ah,
bollocks. That,
all the
you know,
modern nonsense, yeah.
exactly,
And
yeah.
people are like, oh, a developer, I expect to get paid like you know $200,000. It's like
Yeah, and
I
you've got
think that's everywhere else in the
CEOs and
world.
middle
That's a bit of an
management and all that
unrealistic.
bollocks. Like with this, you
Yeah,
had the actual CEO of Saber turn around and talk to the fans. You
yeah,
don't get that with Activision, for example.
yeah.
So
I can't remember his exact name, but one of the main guys at Saber worked for id Software when they did
he did. Yes, you're right.
the first new Doom game,
Yeah.
and he went on the record and stated that Space Marine 2 literally had half the budget that Doom had to
Hmm.
be developed, and it turned out as well as it did. Like they're not a AAA studio at all, but they do a fucking good job with what they've got.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, his complaints about Space Marine 2 is like, yeah, yeah. Admittedly, GW have lightened up on the purging and all that kind of stuff because it's just about Space Marines on a planet trying to fight
Defending it,
Tyranids. I mean, that is it. It doesn't need to have the other stuff. And he was talking
yeah,
about how it should be more like the No Russian mission from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And the Space Marines should just be running around gunning down civilians. It was like, no, you twat.
no,
That's
no,
not what Space Marines do.
no. They are there to fundamentally protect the civilians in the first
Yeah,
instance.
technically, like,
And when there is a conflict in their orders and their morality, they can become indifferent to civilians at best.
Yes, like collateral damage would be something that a space marine would be like, shame.
Yeah, exactly.
You
We
know,
got the job done.
it'd be like
You-
Nick Frost racking the fucking gun in gateways in Hot Fuzz. You know? Shame.
yeah,
And I think there's a 40k meme for that. You know, but that's what it would be like. It would be like, you know, okay, humans are going to get killed, but you know, it's going to happen because we need to kill the bad guys.
yeah.
And whereas a
I think
salamander might go, right, okay, we need to rescue those humans, most space marines are going to be like, no, that's not what we're ordered to do. You know, they
Yeah.
are unfortunately collateral damage. But
Yeah,
the
and
space marines
they'll
don't run
basically
out
be
and
like,
fucking just start gunning down humans for the fucking sake of it. Adam
no.
something, you absolute numpty.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, like Marines would take a much more of a long view on the subject. They're kind of like, we don't want these civilians getting wrecked, but if some of them get wrecked in the process of us achieving our goal, which
Yeah.
then stops more of them getting wrecked, then it's a shame, but it happened.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
also
will not,
space marines would be
they
like,
won't
well,
go
that's
out of
not
their
our,
way to save them.
it's not our job to evacuate the civilians. Somebody else
No,
should have evacuated the civilians before we come in and have to wreck face.
that's what the Imperial Guard are for.
Kind of, yeah, or whoever. You know, there'll be
Yeah,
some element of the Adeptus Ministerium or something like that would be
yeah,
in charge of that. Some kind of logistics of
yeah,
removing people.
yeah.
So yeah, again, I very much took umbrage with this kind of no Russian comparison. Where it's like, oh, it should basically be an atrocity simulator. No, it shouldn't. That is not what. It's never been what Warhammer 40,000 has been,
Nope,
and we've been playing it since the fucking start, mate. I don't
more
know
or
how
less.
long
Yeah,
you've been playing it, but it's not what it's ever been. It might be what crazy left wing people think it is, or what people,
It's-
more to the point, what crazy left wing people think that right wing people think it is, or normal, or anybody who's not left wing thinks it is. And then
yeah,
that's why, because that's his other thing is like, you know, 40k attracts
right
in
wingers.
inverted commas, wrong, yeah, let's just say wrong'uns, not like we're
Yeah,
magnetised or anything, but
and
wrong'uns
no,
because they like that. And it's like,
no.
maybe for 5% of the, or an infinitesimally small amount of the fan base,
Yeah,
maybe to some people, but no.
I've, I mean, I've been
When
playing.
I hit you up on Messenger and I go, dude, let's purge some fucking nids, it's not because I'm secretly imagining that I'm going to be gunning down minorities.
No,
I'm sorry, Adam, it just isn't. It's not the way it goes.
no, it's just lots of fun and their nids. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of went off on one on my notes at this point.
Oh, cool. No, please go for it, dude.
I
Go
just
with it.
did a bunch of paragraphs. And it basically says like the Imperium is essentially born from necessity, and it's not really a dictatorship because the Emperor is the linchpin holding everything together.
Yep.
Like, there's no alternative to him being the core of the Imperium because the setting is literally built around him from the ground up, like, and it always has been.
Yes, exactly. It's not a
You
fucking
know,
democracy.
no, the Imperium was created by him for humanity, not for his own benefit.
Yes. Yes.
Like, what does what does the Emperor have in, like, what does he benefit from having an Imperium anyway?
Yes.
You know, he was very focused and driven. He never rested on his laurels and constantly strived to push humanity forward to be the dominant race.
Yes. It's to evolve.
To
The
yeah,
whole idea
to
was to get them into a psychic form of life in the web way, basically.
where they were safe
Yeah.
from chaos. Yeah, and it says like to equate imperial humanity to a single modern race and treat Chaos and Xenos as victims of racism is absurd. Like, which Xenos can even be treated with, like, in a friendly fashion?
Yeah.
Orcs and Tyrannies are intrinsically beyond peace in any way at all.
Yep.
With any
Tyrannies
other
just want
race,
to eat.
that is.
Orcs want to fight. That's all they can do.
Exactly. Like the Tau Eldar and Necrons, you know, perhaps on a temporary basis, but
The
all three races
the
are far
Necrons are
too.
overall looking to do what the Imperium's doing, but on the long game.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah,
was
but like
ours
I'm
before
saying,
it was yours, and we're going to take it
yeah,
all back
yeah,
because
and it says like,
you've woken us up from our nap.
yeah, and it says, but all three races are far too ambitious to be trusted long term.
Yes,
And
the Eldar would quite happily sacrifice a handful of Imperial or an entire system of Imperial worlds if it saved one Eldar life.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're not
You know,
overly fussed about us at all.
The
because
Tau are
we're not
probably
them.
the closest that you would have, but even
Yeah.
those have risen
Well, no,
massively in a short amount of time.
yeah, So where are we? Yeah, and and all of those three races have got proven histories of conflict with the Imperium to back this up.
Exactly,
They
yeah.
can't be
Well,
trusted.
the
Oh, the
second, the Tower
perfidious.
happy expanding their empire, but the
Oh
second
yeah,
that clashes with the Imperium, shit's going to go down.
yeah, they're not going to stop. They're
No.
just like, yeah, we're doing fine, and what's yours looks quite nice.
Yes.
It would be a shame if all your people turned a
To the
funny
greater
blue
good.
grey colour and weren't humans anymore.
Yes.
I said like the Votan would probably be the closest thing to an ally the Imperium could claim, given that genetically they are distant descendants of humanity.
Yes.
But not only are they clones designed by living AI machines, they are fundamentally incompatible with the Adeptus Mechanicus, and so any kind of long-term peace is never going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't have thinking machines, and the Votan
No,
kind of thinking machines.
absolutely not. And considering that the Votan also have access to the descendants of STC machines, which the AdMech seem to cover above all else, it's not going to go well
No,
if
it's
they
not.
try and work together
Yes.
and they find that out.
It's like these ancestor
Like,
cores, huh? Very interesting. We'd like to take them apart. You'd like to what?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then he went on to talk about like how Marines are psychopaths, and he unfortunately for him, he used like the hammer and bolter Garden of Ghosts
Yes,
episode.
I was gonna get there because he was going, oh, these lovely Eldar families being massacred. There we go.
Yeah, and I kind of said like Garden of Ghosts is a poor choice. It's entirely told from the Eldar's perspective,
Yep.
who of course see humans as idiot, ignorant savages even
Monkey.
before they witness before their home getting wrecked.
Yes, Monkey.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a coincidence that it sounds like what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's apes, isn't it? They're calling humans apes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a early designer studio tongue in cheek satire.
Yes, exactly.
I said it's a fucking great episode. It's literally one of my favourites. It
Oh,
was
it's
so
brilliant,
good.
man. It's brilliant. I mean, you do get to see, one thing I like about it is you do get to see the brutality, and I'm going to sound fucking right wing here, but you do get to see the brutality of the Space Marines. It's like they are fucking, that's what Space Marines would do. They are wrecking face.
It's what they're for.
Yeah.
But like it's seen through.
It's seen through the lens of the Eldar, so it's automatically
it's
skewed and biased. You don't know why the
Exactly.
Space Marines are there.
No, and they're not all screaming and shouting, bloodshot-eyed savages trying to murder everyone.
No, they're a methodical strike force, but they are
especially Ultramarines.
Yeah, but they are absolutely wrecking. The Eldar are not having a good day.
No.
But again, there's no balanced perspective there. There's no nuance there, as you say. We don't know why. Maybe that Eldar craft world has literally, or has attacked, or is on its way to attack, or the Space Marines are a directed force. Somebody has to direct the Space Marines. They are not mindless savages running around going, "That doesn't look like me. I'm going to kill it."
Yeah,
that's not what Space Marines are. They have orders. They are soldiers.
I always equate Space Marines to like the modern, the equivalent to modern special forces, like a SEAL team.
Yeah, they're basically the SAS, aren't they?
Literally the tip of the spear. They go in, do the important, really hard, heavy lifting initially, and then the Imperial Guard come in after them, secure everything needs to be sorted like the regular army would in modern day, and then those Marines, most of them will then extract and go
and
on
get relocated
to the next war zone. Yeah. They don't just hang around or don't just turn up and smash things because they're there.
Yeah.
Although they might if they literally come across an Eldar craft world.
I mean, the only thing that would make Garden Ghost better is if it wasn't fucking floating stupid Primaris tanks and it was Predators and Land Raiders.
Exactly. But the thing is with Garden of Ghosts is it's all about perspective. It's told from the perspective of a guy, like in hindsight, who was there and saw his family get murdered by, well, it's not murder when it's a war, get killed by Space Marines in a war zone.
That was the other thing, actually, that was just quickly, that was the other thing that I wanted to say, because he was like saying in Starship Troopers, he was like, oh, and sent all these men off to be murdered by by the bugs. And I was like, dude, 2 seconds ago you said it was the bug self-defense. How's it murder?
No, exactly.
Pick your lane, bro. But yes, anyway, back to the Garden Ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah. And I said, like, it's entirely unbalanced for use as an example of Astartes.
Yeah.
I said war crimes are only crimes when there's a law forbidding them, which society has to use to maintain a standard of treatment between human combatants. Because obviously, war crimes, the definition of them is a relatively modern thing.
Even now, it's being argued whether what Israel is doing is war crimes or self-defense. And there's certain people that say it's war crimes, and there's certain people that say it's self-defense, and it's up to minds better paid than ours to work it out.
Well, definitely more experienced than mine when it comes to actual warfare and politics. But
Exactly.
I'd just say you guys need to
Exactly that. I mean,
stop and sit down and have a good chat.
these people have been kicking the shit out of each other for a long time. They hate each other, and unfortunately, that's what happens when you put two people that hate each other next to each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, I don't really want to go into the
No, I don't want to get into the politics of it at all. But I'm just
Um,
saying, from a perspective of war crimes, it's not as black and white as this guy says it is.
No, not at all. And I kind of said, like, it's a fairly modern invention between human combatants. The Imperium has no such rules in place prohibiting almost anything in war. So there's no crimes. Like, literally, it's not a war crime to massacre Eldar families because it's a war and you don't have any sort of agreement with them to not do such a thing as a war crime.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and as you say, I mean, everything. He doesn't. You know, the setting has been very, 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 very explicit. Everything is a threat. Everything is trying to destroy humanity. There is no nuance. There is no race in Warhammer 40,000 that is kind of like, oh, the Imperium, you guys might be, oh god, no, please stop attacking us. That's not happened. That's not happened yet.
The clue is in, like, the sub, the subtitle for the whole thing. There is only war.
Yes, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. It is that simple. So yeah, his take on the setting is almost completely wrong. And as you say, his use of Garden of Ghosts to show the Eldar doing atrocities is completely one-sided. And
it's a perfect example of him using a particular element in the setting that suits his narrative rather than looking at the whole setting as a whole.
Yes, exactly. I'm seeing the bits that I want to see that reinforce my viewpoint.
Yeah, so I can get more clicks from my 100 and my 1.2 million
and get my what's it, sponsors, make my sponsors happy. And as I say, we are a tiny channel in comparison. You've got to admit that at the end of the day, he is a huge channel, but that doesn't mean that he's always right.
No.
And I wanted to pull up these books here because, from what I remember, although as he said, the books do have more license to explore the wider side of the Imperium than Space Marine 2 was, and a 8-hour, and that's been very, very, very generous campaign wise, action game cannot contrast with a series of books so wide in breadth that I don't think you could actually read everything in the lifetime that I've got left, if you know what I mean.
No.
There are so many pages and so many books and so many words that have been printed, but just looking at these, Double Eagle, don't remember any atrocities in that one. It's basically a flight squadron that goes out and does missions. Don't remember any atrocities. Really good ending to it though. Really can't wait to read the sequel. Horus Rising. They're not very nice to the people at the start, but that's about it. And that's because one guy proclaims himself an emperor, doesn't he?
Yeah, the problem is with the people at the start is that they weren't very nice to the Astartes, and that's what kicked off their ending.
Yes. The Astartes went in there and said, you say you're an emperor, we're from the real emperor, like, submit. And they went, no. And it was like,
exactly.
Well, we're going to have problems now, aren't we?
I do believe they actually sent the messenger's head back.
They did, yes, you're right.
Attached.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it was one of the commanders, like the Horus's favorite Mournival people, and so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's
and then all those sons of bitches are going.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so.
Fulgrim. I mean, it's a tale of a Primarch being taken over by a demon. It doesn't have anything to do with the Imperium as a whole.
No, it's one a microcosm of a story of.
Yeah, and it ends up on his fan with Ferris getting his head taken off. So I think we can discount that one. I think we can do. I've not read For the Emperor, but being a Caiaphas Cain, it'll be an entirely tongue-in-cheek, jingoistic kind of propagandist kind of awesome book.
Yeah.
Soul Hunter is the Night Lords doing variously bad Night Lord things, but again, that's not the Imperium, so I think we can discount that. Night Lords will atrocity, but they're the bad guys. They're meant to.
They're supposed to. It's literally what they do.
Yes.
Even when they were the quasi-good guys, it's literally what they did.
It's literally what they did. Yeah, they were the shock troops.
it was not the standard for Marines,
No.
and I think that's very apparent.
And again, that's the nuance, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
that's why you've got these different legions with different traits.
yeah.
Caiaphas Cain, again, I have read Hero of the Imperium. There are no
Rah.
atrocities in there. There's lots of Caiaphas Cain trying to run away from battle and somehow ending up the hero
Yeah,
hilariously
it's
over and
fundamentally all of his
over
stories.
and over again.
They're fantastic,
Brilliant
fantastic books.
books. Brilliant
I
books.
think it's pretty safe to say that you're never ever going to find an imperial-driven atrocity in a Cathias Cain book,
No, no, really not.
or
Really not.
almost any Warhammer book.
Lots of cowardice, but not no atrocities. Ravenor, there's no atrocities. There's lots of inquisitors taking people down and doing stuff like that. And I think they're trying to bust a drug like a flect, where you look in the glass and it opens the warp. Lots of nastiness and grimdarkness, but no atrocities that I remember. Maybe some small scale purging of people, but same with Eisenhorn, Xenos.
Lots of nastiness, but no Nazis.
Exactly, yeah. Betrayer, again, nearly completely discounted its legions fighting legions. And Hell's Reach, there's a little bit, if I remember, of subjugating of a city and making them fight because they don't want to fight, and the Space Marines turn up and go like, yes, you fucking will.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
It's your job. It's your duty.
It is your duty, that's it. That's about it. I think he might execute somebody, but I don't think he goes on a mass murder rampage. So yeah, no atrocities here. No horribleness here. I have no idea what's going on here with this picture.
Oh, fuck knows.
Like, the breastplates on the front.
The breastplate's backwards.
Presumably it's AI. I have no idea. Purge 10,000 civilians. No, Space Marines do not do that on a regular basis. He was basically saying that's what the game should be, with a counter running, and you should be going through. And if it was a Khan the Betrayer simulator, then yes, he does actually have. I remember that in Inferno where he's got the counter running on his visor as he goes around and murders people. Then yes, but not Space Marines. Shut up, Adam. And then he starts talking about what they do against civilians and things, and probably not nice things because of aliens and they're a threat and all that kind of stuff. You know, but then they also eat their own people out of necessity. So go figure.
Oh, corpse starch.
Exactly, corpse starch. Yeah, they recycle the dead. So he's talking about all that and just saying like Titus is a hero, and Titus is a hero, but Titus also kind of stands out against Space Marines.
Yeah, he's not a general example.
He's not a general example of Space Marines.
It's a lot more nuanced.
So he gets into talk about Superman next, and saying that Superman is now viewed as an alien rather than the good guy he is, and I'm like, no. Like maybe if you're like young, like really young, and you've only seen the Snyder movies and never picked up a fucking comic book, but
or seen Smallville or any of the
or any of that other stuff, exactly, or like the animated Justice League or anything like that. But you can't say that 3 movies, I think it's 3, overwrites an entire like 60-odd year fucking history of the character.
No, it's just an alternative take.
Yeah.
Based on that character.
It's the take that reinforces what you want to say, and therefore, you've chosen to highlight that, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's 2. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I know one film director who's actually had a film released, but he's not like a very close friend or anything like that. And I think that there's 2 reasons that people get films made. One is because there's a message there and it reinforces something that they believe is important and they want other people to get that message.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, because it's fucking cool and they want to do it.
Yeah. Passion projects, yeah.
Yeah, and generally, like, the latter is far more interesting than the former because, once again, films are generally about escapism and not wanting to know about real things.
Yes.
Even though a lot of the times in films, there is the equivalent of real things happening, but on a screen.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. As I say, it doesn't, one film doesn't, just because Zack Snyder decided to do a mood and dark and gloomy, moody take on Superman, doesn't mean that that's the public perception of Superman. And I imagine that when James Gunn's new movie comes out next year, whether or not it's any good, it will move back towards the more optimistic side that Henry Cavill so desperately wanted to portray.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was getting on at there. And then he started talking about Games Workshop conflicting actual Nazis. So, did you have any more points in between?
I think there was one bit where he mentioned that there should be an alternative to acting as you do in Space Marine 2.
Yes.
And I said, kind of like the alternative to not being a hyper trained post-human power armored mega soldier in Superman 2,
Yeah.
in Space Marine 2, is to either be eaten or sacrificed to a specific blue purple water entity. And I don't see how either of those things is preferable. If the Marines weren't there to help, that's what happens to every living thing on that planet. One way.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, and they even say that they can't save the planet. It's all stalling tactics for the fleet, to try and just do what they can to the fleet. Kadaku, is it? I think Kadaku is fucking lost. It's gone.
That's the goner, yeah.
Yeah, we are in the final hours of Kadaku. They're trying to save Demetrius or Demirius or whatever it's called. I think Demetrius is actually the name of Titus.
Yeah, that's his first name.
Yeah.
I mean, you mean the tech priest
planet, yeah.
Like the Archmagos, who's a brilliant character. I love
no,
him so
no,
much.
no. The actual name of the planet is There's 3 planets in Space
in the campaign. That's right. Yeah, it does about what they're called. We know there's 3. One of them's a goner. One of them's just about to be a goner, and the other one's just a mess because of chaos.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But no. I mean, as I say, I mean, it is made quite clear that lots and lots and lots of people are dying.
Yeah.
The Guard are not having a good time. Even the Space Marines are not having a good time. That last operation we did, you walk past a lot of destroyed armor.
Oh yeah.
The trappings of war are on display.
Yeah. It's not exactly a glorification of war.
No,
I mean, it may be glorification of being a Space Marine and smashing everyone's face in, but then that's kind of the whole point of wanting to play as a Space Marine.
Yes, really? Exactly. Yeah. And then he starts talking about all of this, and this pissed me off as well, saying that people that were posting memes and quotes from Warhammer were all wrong uns. And saying like, what was? I keep going past it. Here it is. Oh, fuck's sake! Edit all this out. Fuck you.
Burn the heretics, kill the mutants.
Shut up.
Communities are often literal cancer, with people unironically parroting the fascist propaganda.
Right, so he's saying like this person's group, burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean, is like a right-wing Nazi dog whistle.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, maybe it's just a Warhammer group.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fucking dude, seriously, I mean, you start seeing Nazis everywhere, and it's just like, what the hell? And then you start getting into, I have to try and pause it in the right place, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Saying like, people that post this kind of stuff are not Nazis and stuff. And I'm like, oh, really?
It's like, what? It's like, why are you taking things from a fictional universe and extrapolating them into the real world to make people bad guys?
Yeah, I just want to be like Ben Affleck in Jane and Silent Bob. Strikes Back. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he does another one with like a cartoon here.
Fuck is the internet?
Like, so he's talking about this. Yeah, exactly. He's talking about this one being like a Nazi. It's like, no, it's just a cool little quote that they've.
And also that should not really be attributed to Games Workshop. It should be attributed to whoever in the setting said it.
Yes.
Because that's the context.
Yeah. And then this one, kill lots of Xenos and got coin.
Yeah,
cool.
Because coins are cool and collectible.
Yeah, awesome, great. It's not a right-wing Nazi dog whistle.
It's not an Iron Cross.
You literally went in and killed lots of Xenos and got a cool commemorative coin, because that's what we're doing for my fucking stag do next year.
Next
year.
That's
what we do for my stag do next year.
Hey, we get coins.
We get coins. It doesn't mean I'm a fucking Nazi, you prick. Oh.
It comes in points.
Said I wouldn't get personal. And then he does this one, saying that this is a Nazi dog whistle as well.
No. The issue with that one is that he decided to use a meme with what looks like Dark Eldar in it.
Yeah, exactly. The grenade is the correct choice.
Yeah, which is just shooting yourself in the one remaining foot that you've got.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, saying like, you know, because the Emperor's already saved me. You know, I will live on at the Emperor's side because I have used my death to take you out.
Which is based on Christianity more than anything.
Yeah, I mean,
You
what
know,
the
when
fuck?
I die, my
Oh,
soul goes to heaven to be with God. And if I've done
guarantee
really
this
good
guy
things,
hates Christians as well. Guarantee it, 100%. Thinks they're all fucking right wing nut jobs, even though he has his own religion. If he is a insane lefty, because that is their religion. Because
I mean, in
religion at the
America,
end of the
has
day is
their
nothing
fair
more
share
than an
like that.
ideology.
I mean, to be fair, that's generalising like hardline Christians in America.
And not all Christians are the same. Like not all right wing people are the same. Some right wing people are just right wing people. It doesn't mean they're all fucking Nazis. Everything
No.
appears to be a spectrum, apart from fucking opinions.
Apart from when it suits him.
So yeah, I was like, dude, it's just a fucking meme.
Yeah. Dark Eldar though.
1,900 likes. The soldier is
It's
glad
like
to
the
die for
worst.
the emperor.
The
Yes,
worst
it has
phrasing
1.9
possibly have
thousand
used
likes
to
because
make
it's
a
a
point.
good interactive Warhammer meme. Yes, it makes
Yeah.
sense. That's why it's got 3k likes now. And he's just like, oh, all these people are fucking wrong uns. I'm like, dude, no.
No, they just also probably wouldn't want to get taken by a Dark Eldar.
And again,
And you, as a Dark Eldar player, should know that very well.
this is an in-universe response. There is nothing wrong
Exactly.
with a dude saying, when I gone, I meet the God Emperor, but using a scum, only God you will meet is Dark God. Yes, that's right.
It's exactly true, because when Eldar die, if they don't have a soul stone, they will go and get nommed by She Who Thirsts.
It's not a Nazi dog whistle, you absolute fucking muppet.
The only
No.
god you'll meet is the dark god, or whatever that is. Cadia stands for Cadia. Cadia is a fortress.
Yeah, and then this one where he takes the piss out of Cadia.
There are also common
Cadia stands, but it's famous for not.
Yeah,
but
and it's like, dude,
right.
the Cadia was the people, the guard, the planet broke before the guard did.
Yeah,
It's a whole idea. It's like, dude,
I think the point is lost on him. Unless
do you 40k at all? And then he gets onto this being like a right wing dog whistle and saying like, oh, if you post it and they go, ah, cool meme, then you go, ah, yeah, yeah. And then if they post it and they go, yes, my white brother, and then you're like, yes. It's like, dude, seriously. Yeah. I've posted these fucking these memes.
Oh, it was you, was it?
Not these ones in particular, but in the past, I have posted these memes, these memes, these memes.
Marines. These are my Marines.
My
Marines. My Marines.
You know, I've posted the one where the Sister of Battle has got the book and she's looking at it and she looks up and she's like, yeah, definitely heresy. or the flamer, the heavy flamer. I've posted that shit when somebody's posted cringe on Facebook.
That was from another YouTube video going over Deathwing, like Space Hulk Deathwing, I think.
Oh right, okay, yeah. And then just like, yeah, I mean, just sometimes memes are memes, dude. Yes, sometimes somebody posts something and you're like, because I can't call you an absolute cunt on Facebook because it's got filters and it won't let me and I'll get banned.
You'll get banned again.
I'm going to post this meme saying as such in different words.
It's more subtle.
You know, it's just, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. And then he gets on to, yes, we know all that. He gets on to this and he starts going like, oh, you know, like men bad, blah, 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 blah.
Not all of us.
And he's just like, oh, dude, please, just let it go. And then he starts talking about Schrodinger's meme, and I'm just like, dude. And then he starts talking about this bollocks, and I'm just like, oh, mate, please. And then, I don't know, do you have any more points at all?
I don't think he had any points to start with.
Oh, no, that's right. Then he comes up with his ideas of how to make Warhammer better.
Oh, God, no.
Yes. And his first one is to post actual Sig Marxism, which is as left-wing as it gets, pretty much, and say that more left-wing people need to be involved. So his solution to Warhammer 40,000 is to make it more like he wants and not like what it is.
That sounds familiar.
I know, right? But then this is one that really made me fucking laugh.
Add more diversity to the Imperium just to make the Chads angry. Female Space Marines, hell yeah.
Female Space Marines, hell yeah. I'd rather you not. You've already done Custodes. I think that's fine. I just wish you hadn't done it with the Heresy, and I just wish you hadn't done it so lazily.
Yeah.
Because he starts off the video going, oh, this upsets people who've never touched a woman. And I'm like, no, it upsets people who fucking just care about the law. and don't like the fact
Yes.
that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's going to be some people who are like, oh no, I don't want any girls. There are. There's going to be a very small percentage, but the vast majority of people are just like, we don't like the lazy-assed way that GW have done it. And when somebody queried it, they just went, oh, there's always been women custodies since the start of the heresy. And it's like, there blatantly fucking hasn't. You're just shoehorning us in and doing it in a very lazy way. You haven't released any models or anything like that. No artwork, nothing at all.
Nothing supports your argument until now.
Until now, yeah, exactly.
And but their argument wasn't about now; it was about previously, and previously there's.
And then when it comes to female space marines, I'm like, no, I don't really want female space marines in the setting, because unless you are going to use female space marines to feminize space marines to a certain level and put a more gentle feminine slant on them, why are you bothering? You would just have men that look like ladies. Does that make sense? Like the space marines are inherently masculine.
Yeah.
In all the ways that he's described, whereas the Sisters of Battle are inherently feminine. You know, they would be the ones that are maybe more likely to be protecting the civilians while they purge heretics at the same time. Not saying the Sisters of Battle don't kick ass, they do kick ass.
But they are also the ones who are just as likely to delete civilians if they get a whiff of susness.
Oh, fuck yeah, man! Because they're more militant about the faith and the Emperor than the Space Marines are.
Exactly, because Marines don't believe that the Emperor is a god.
No, whereas
that's the fundamental difference.
Yeah,
everyone else
the Sisters of Battle do. Yeah, like the whole ecclesiarchy is based on it. So yeah, I don't particularly want to see female Space Marines, even though I suspect eventually it's going to happen.
Marines, hell yeah. Naturally. Sorry, I mean.
And let's face it, already there is a lot of feminine representation that could be argued in Warhammer 40,000. You've got Lady Guard. You know,
Dembski Bowden goes out of his way to include strong female characters.
He does. He's very good at it as well. Loretta Starn, is it?
Yeah.
World
does
Eaters. She's
way.
great.
Doesn't fuck anything up. It's very good.
She fucking turns. She turns around to Angor and fucking back chats him. He's just like, you small interesting human pet. I will keep you alive. You entertain me. But yeah, I mean, there is plenty of ladies in 40k already. I will say flat out, whether it makes me a fucking bigot or whatever, I don't particularly want lady space marines. I just don't. Let those be. You know, space marines are a monk archetype.
Exactly.
Sisters of Battle are a nun archetype.
Yep.
There's your two religious sides sorted out. They don't need to cross over. That's fine.
No.
If anything, just have more Sisters of Battle. And if you really want gene-enhanced ladies, then maybe have some very special, very rare gene-enhanced Sister of Battle unit that's in very, very small unit numbers, because the process is not meant to work with the female genome or something. If you really want to do it that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do female Space Marines. But then, and this is the fucking kicker, he comes on and says, more skin colours.
But we've got more skin
colours. Bro, have you
now than
fucking
we ever have.
40k'd recently?
He literally posted one.
There is literally... Yeah, and I presume he's going like, oh, this is a really, really rare example. I'm like, dude, have you recently fucking 40k'd? Every skin colour is fucking represented, mate. Every single skin colour. They do not post a squad without having a person of colour in it.
Yeah.
Like, there was 2 faces in the secret level thing recently. One of them was Titus, the other was a kick-ass black dude, Matarius.
He was awesome.
You know, people don't have a fucking problem with it. And aside from the human gamut, we've also got purple-skinned demonettes, red-skinned corn dudes, blue-skinned cow dudes.
Blue and pink.
Black-skinned, literal black-skinned salamanders, white-skinned Raven Guard. Like, all the colours are represented. Green-skinned orcs. Dude, your point falls as flat as it is possible to fall.
Yeah.
What do you mean more fucking skin colours? They are very much all represented.
I might as well be that guy, look.
Yeah, exactly.
In his own video.
Seriously, have you looked at a Warhammer community article or a Black Library book cover in the last few years? Because Games Workshop go out of their way to make sure that they're all included. so that
They
nobody
really
can
do.
call them fucking
If you have
racists.
some more ideas,
Front and
feel
centre
free
in
to share
some
them in the
cases.
comments.
Absolutely
be
front and
sure that
centre,
they can-
mate.
This time
And the
that they
same
can
goes for
recruit that.
ladies.
We'll
Ladies are
go to
massively
the latest
represented,
ones. In
far
the
more than
meantime,
they would
thank
be
you
as a
for watching.
proportion of
If you-
hobbyists. So
Yeah.
thank you for watching. Fuck you, Adam something. Your points are null and void. I'm sorry, dude. They are.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think he's got any point. Like that, I finished my notes, and like I kind of said, like he said, the problem with 40k is, and I said, well, the problem with 40k is modern nonsense and a shit 10th edition. But
Yes.
seriously, the problem with the internet is videos like this one
Mhm.
equating aliens from a fictional universe born from the 1980s Britain with modern humans.
Yeah. The problem with 40k, and I'll be
Which they're not.
completely, honestly, 100% brutally honest here, is the people trying to put fucking politics into it or bring
Exactly.
politics into it. That is the problem with 40k. We don't
Thankfully,
want it.
that's
We never used to have it, and it was better back in the day.
yeah. Thankfully, that's actually not Games Workshop. They just stick more.
No, I mean,
racial
Games Workshop
representation
have done what Games Workshop need to do as a corporation.
to look relevant, yeah.
And
to keep approval.
so they have become, is Games Workshop having, is Warhammer 40,000 rather, or we could extend this to Games Workshop. Is it having woke elements added to it? Yes, it is, but it's not necessarily anything that any big company. It just has to do it. It can't not do it. If
Yeah,
you
it has
don't
to be
do
seen
it,
to be do
you'd
it.
be fucked. You have to be seen to be doing it, and that goes for everybody. I don't
Yep.
think it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. I don't necessarily think that the game is woke. I think the game has been watered down a lot. It's been made a lot more
Simple
appealing to people in
Yeah.
both setting and rules.
to new people.
I would say that it's been
which is,
neutered and watered down. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's been made woke at any stage. That secret level did not have any
wokeness in it at all.
any wokeness, any female representation. It had nothing but Space Marines doing what Space Marines do and kicking ass.
Yeah,
And
just for
literally
the
like
record,
wrecking
in case-
face.
in case it wasn't obvious, there's nothing wrong with female representation as long as it is
No, and
supported by the established law.
I resent the fact that we have to keep saying this as well. That there's nothing. There has always been. I mean, when was Sisters of Battle was 2nd edition? They got a codex.
That's so long. That's older than some of the people. that have been collecting them.
1998, I think, was the Sisters of Battle codex. If not 98, 99.
Was that still 2nd edition then?
Yes, just about.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 3rd edition was released at the back end of 99, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Because I was working for the company, so it was, there has always been representation of females in Warhammer 40,000 more proportional than the amount of females that play Warhammer 40,000. Always.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, some dudes like having Sisters of Battle armies themselves. Because I've got a Sisters of Battle army.
I've got one sitting on my shelf. I started collecting it in memory of my late mother. I thought she would like it because she was a Christian and she's a woman.
Nice.
So therefore, I have them.
My reasons are not like that. I just thought the Sisters of Battle models look cool.
They do look cool as long as they've got the helmets on.
Yeah, GW faces not so good.
Again, not a slight against me wanting female representation overtly in my female army, but one, it's a war zone. You should keep your fucking helmet on. 2,
to be fair, Sisters of Battle should not look like they're in L'Oreal adverts, I guess.
No.
But yes, there's always been female representation in Warhammer 40,000 greater than the amount or the proportion of females playing Warhammer 40,000. Always.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, I hate to say it to you people, Warhammer 40,000 will always be primarily a male, white gamer base, audience base. It always, I'm sorry, it will. It's just designed that way from the ground up. Males find belligerents more interesting than females anyway, and war and action and all that kind of shit. And it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And the girls that do want to play in it, fucking come on board. We love, I'd love to. I've played against girls on the tabletop, and it's been fine, absolutely fine. You know.
Hello, Penny. We hope you enjoyed Bolt Action, even though you'll never listen to this.
It's not. It doesn't have to be an exclusive thing, but we just don't want the thing that we like to be fucked with and changed beyond recognition, because we like it the way we like it, and that's the way the majority of people like it.
Yep.
And if you change it too much from that, then it will be unrecognisable. And I suspect that is what Adam Something wants.
Yep.
He wants it to be more like what he thinks it should be.
Because then it will cater to a particular slant of people.
Exactly. And the thing is, that is the minority of people. And Disney, Star Wars has proved this. Star Trek has proved this. Countless fucking franchises have proved this time and time again. And I'm
Disney
hoping,
learning it across multiple franchises.
Exactly, yes. And I'm hoping that Games Workshop are smart enough to know not to do it, basically. And time will tell. At the end of the day, time will tell. We can only say what we are, and what Grumpy Gardener Gaming is nothing more than just two dudes that have been doing this for decades who want to put that point of view across. Not a left-wing point of view, not a right-wing point of view, just a grognard point of viee.
Long-term gamer point of view.
A gamer, veteran gamer point of view, exactly. We've been doing this for a long time. We've already seen everything grow and change. 20 years ago, you wouldn't dream of having plastic knights in the game. You'd be like, what? No chance. You're having a fucking laugh. This plastic dreadnought's quite large, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
And you'd be like, these Imperial Knights wouldn't fit in the game either. I can't imagine anything as powerful as a knight on the battlefield. You're having a laugh. No chance.
What do you mean you want to bring a second Land Raider? What's wrong with you?
Exactly that. That is what it would have been like. and we've seen the game evolve, and as I say, for 40k, not necessarily for the better in our opinion. But we've seen it change. We have, it's going to sound a bit sad, but we have the Warhammer life experience that maybe some people don't have. And obviously some of our listeners will, and some of our listeners won't.
All 8 of them.
Yeah,
7 now.
Down to 7 now.
We lost one earlier.
Down to 7, yeah. I was going to say we
lost one earlier when they decided that we weren't very good at Space Marine 2.
Yeah, noobs, get good scrubs. So I mean, that's what we do at the end of the day. And by the time you've experienced this ultra long C.H.E.B.S, which is going to have bits cuts out of it, because I believe we're now at like nearly the 3-hour mark. You guys know what we are, and if you like what we do, drop us a sub, because we are struggling on the algorithm, because we don't do drama like some people, even though we spent the last hour and 20 minutes complaining about this guy's video. But you won't find us doing videos like Games Workshop is in crisis, the latest Games Workshop scandal. We leave that to other people. You will not see our faces on a video looking shocked and stuff like that. That's just not
probably be very unlucky to see our faces on a video.
Exactly, very rare. Very rare. You've got these representations of us, and I'm going to do some cartoony ones at some point, because what I want to do is when we're having these chats, I want to have a little cartoon representations of us pop up on screen with like different expressions and stuff. Just to make the videos a little bit more visually interesting, because I appreciate that. A lot of people, like, I hope, would listen to us while they're doing their painting and stuff like that, and don't necessarily have to look at us. It'd be more interesting to look at something rather than just a blank screen or just a Warhammer screensaver that I happen to have on my desktop.
A little part of me is thinking that they are missing out for not seeing us.
Well, we'll do a video stream at some point, but I'm not doing it till we get to 1,000 subs, man. I'm holding them hostage to that. I want the channel monetized one day. When we get to 1,000 subs, I'm going to do some merch. And we'll do a video stream so people can see our faces properly.
Yeah. I think
assuming that we're not all like 60 years old by then,
might be dead by then. But I think in certain lights we both look magnificent. Although I'm not going to elaborate whether that's like a black light or.
I was going to say like in the soft red glow of
a what exactly? A charging las pack. But but just as a last point, back to the case in hand, we were saying that we like the women's in the hobby. We do, it's true. And I think it's very important to point out that potentially the only time that will ever get uppity with a woman being in the hobby is, and this
she doesn't make a sandwich quick enough.
No, this is probably a generalization about the skills of women not making sandwiches. Is that when they bust out an army, and it's invariably better painted than mine. Because they are really good at doing that.
They have the patience for it. They have the patience to deal with our bullshit, mate. They have the patience to be good painters.
It's true. They do. Even though they seem to mostly stick to Eldar.
Eldar and Orcs, I've noticed.
Another generalisation.
Yes, I mean, it's true. No, actually, Tyranids is big against Lady Gamers, from what I remember correctly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Tyranids.
I do remember.
Tyranids and Orcs are the two big ones, I think.
I do remember Dan's other half having pink Necrons, which was quite funny, and then she beat him with him, and I was like, oh, can't laugh at those anymore.
Yeah, that sounds quite cool, actually. Yeah, as I say, I think we can leave it there.
Yeah.
I'm all for anybody joining the hobby. Absolutely anybody. If you're a left wing person, provided you don't fucking lecture me all game long, and you're happy just to have a fun game with me, and we don't bring any politics into it at all, and we just try and just kill each other's marines or aliens or whatever, I will game with absolutely anybody. I have no bias at all. There is nobody that I will be like, just because of who you are, I will not game with you. That just doesn't happen.
Unless we know you're a prick.
Unless we know, exactly. I would know who you are, and I would know that maybe you're an unsavoury person and I don't want to play with you. Like, if you rock up with a fucking swastika t-shirt on,
That's
an
what I was literally
unironic,
about to say.
not a Nazi punks fuck off napalm death t-shirt, but you rock up with an actual swastika t-shirt on or something like that, or maybe your army is fucking rocking swastikas all over or something like that, which in a Warhammer 40,000 army there is no need to have.
Massively inappropriate.
Then maybe I would be like, no, you're all right, mate, I'm not going to play against you. But that aside, without any overt signs that you're an absolute fucking bellend, like maybe if you're wearing a t-shirt that says down with the patriarchy or something like that, I might be like, you know what, maybe we're not going to get on and we won't bother. But that aside, I will quite happily play a game against anybody, provided you don't try and make massive alterations to what I love.
I'll be like, your Gene Stealer t-shirt's wrong. Patriarch.
Yeah. All hail the four-armed emperor.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. That's pretty cool. That was a good juicy perk C.H.E.B.S, and I will get round to editing and some would say butchering all of this at some point and making it presentable.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know, right? Right, we will catch you guys later then. Have fun, and don't forget to drop down in the comments and let us know what you think, even if you kind of hate us a bit and think we're crap at Space Marine 2.
Thanks for starting until the end.
Bye.
Cheerio.